The girl was once an epic-tier angel familiar, the center of everyone's attention. Yet now she is treated like trash. Thrown into a dim warehouse waiting to be destroyed. All because she is an angel with a congenital broken wing, unable to advance. But the moment I laid my eyes on her, I decided to form a contract with her without hesitation. People thought I had lost my mind, mocking me one after another for being a fool. Little did they know I possess the ability to see through the evolutionary paths of all familiars. Even if it is a defective angel, I can make her evolve into a 12-winged holy angel. However, I was once betrayed by my first summoned epic-tier familiar, a succubus. This greedy dark-type creature actually colluded with the son of a wealthy family in Liuli City. After publicly refusing to form a contract with me, she immediately threw herself into the arms of that rich heir. Right now, there are only 10 days left until the school's beast tamer selection. I could only anxiously come to the familiar trading house to try my luck. After looking around, I wasn't in a hurry to make a move. After all, while excellent tier familiars are a decent choice, the gap between them and an epic tier succubus is simply too large. Hello. Does the familiar trading house have any other familiars? The staff member thought for a moment and said, besides the familiars here, the ones unsold from previous years will be handled uniformly at the logistics department. However, those familiars are all defective goods left over by others. And you need to be quick. Any later, and they will be sent away for destruction. Inside the trading house's logistics warehouse, a silver-haired girl with a blank stare was curled up in a corner. Around her were several other familiars of various forms, equally waiting for the judgment of fate. They were defective goods that no one had picked for a whole year. Today is the day of familiar summoning in Liuli City. And also their doomsday. Just then a young man in a uniform pushed the door open and entered. Hearing the sound, the girl stood up numbly, her hollow eyes filled with despair. A year ago, when the girl descended upon Liuli City, she caused a sensation across the whole city. Unfortunately, her congenital defect made her inferior to even a common familiar, and further unable to level up through a contract. For a piece of trash like her, even her recycling value was practically non-existent. The staff member glanced at her and sighed. Let's go. Wait. Just as he was about to lead the way, an urgent voice suddenly rang out. I rushed into the room panting heavily, and my gaze was instantly drawn to that touch of silver. The girl's attribute interface instantly popped up. An epic Joe star aptitude familiar. She was the familiar with the highest aptitude I had ever seen. Just one step away from the legendary tier. My eyes unconsciously shifted to her back, where there should have been a pair of holy wings. But now it was completely empty. This was the reason no one wanted her. But the system provided a restoration plan. Angel's Feather X Yi. Radiant Stardust X Sun. Holy Spirit Stone X Yi. And the familiar trading house happened to have all three of these materials. I took a deep breath and walked up to the staff member. I want to buy that angel. How much is she? Hearing these words, Liuli's pupils suddenly shrank. She slowly raised her head, her golden eyes reflecting my figure. Does he really know what he is choosing? I am just a piece of trash who can't even fly. The staff member was also momentarily stunned. Are you referring to that angel familiar? With a firm gaze, I repeated it again. Yes. How much? The staff member rubbed his hands nervously. You can take her away for only 10,000 Longxia coins. Although she is a defective product, she is still of epic quality. I paid cleanly and efficiently, and soon arrived at the contract room. Liuli stood at the edge of the contract magic circle with her head bowed, her drooping silver hair covering her slightly trembling shoulders. I'm sorry. I cannot form a contract with you. I am a crippled familiar. I looked at Liuli, trying to pass some faith to this despairing little girl. I know about your problem, but I have a way to fix it. Liuli suddenly froze, looking up with tear-blurred eyes. Really? The beast tamer assessment is in 10 days. If I weren't confident, why would I choose you? I have already prepared the materials. Do you want to try? Hearing these words, Liuli's body trembled slightly. Then under my encouraging gaze, she integrated the three materials into her body one by one. The next moment, a dense purple light suddenly surged from Liuli's body. This light was far deeper than what I saw when I summoned the succubus. It was almost condensed into substance, as if it wanted to swallow the entire room. And what was even more astonishing was that, deep within the surging purple light, a strand of golden light spread rapidly like a prairie fire. This was the light of the golden legendary aptitude. My breath caught. The materials provided by the system, were clearly only meant to heal her injuries. Why would they trigger an aptitude evolution? Unless Liuli's injury itself was the shackle limiting her potential. As my thoughts raced at lightning speed, 2 pure white wings slowly unfurled from the wounds on Liuli's back, gently wrapping around Liuli, ultimately transforming into a giant cocoon of light. Then with a loud boom, an invisible ripple suddenly erupted, piercing through the roof and shooting straight into the clouds. Inside the city lord's manor, Linyuan City Lord Xiaoxiu's pupils suddenly shrank. He stood up abruptly and looked out the window. Just a moment ago, he felt a vast abyssal aura descend from the sky, enveloping the entirety of Linyuan City. Xiaoxiu's voice suddenly became sharp. Guards, immediately conduct a thorough investigation of all spatial rifts in the vicinity. The guards hastily took the order and left. But Xiaoxiu's brow furrowed deeper and deeper. There were only 2 possibilities that could trigger such a worldly anomaly. Either the barrier of the alternate dimension was loosening, leaking the aura of some terrifying existence, or a familiar with legendary aptitude was born. At this moment I stared blankly at the light screen in front of me. It really became legendary. I took a deep breath, trying hard to calm my wildly beating heart. Was a legendary tier angel really willing to become my familiar? After all, not long ago, I had just experienced the betrayal of the succubus. However, that silver-white figure suddenly spread her wings slightly and knelt on one knee, her golden pupils showing undisguised determination. Holy Angel Liuli requests to become your familiar. Hearing that firm voice, I slowly curled up the corners of my mouth. In this world, ultimately not all familiars are as heartless and ungrateful as that succubus. I solemnly reached out my hand. Liuli, welcome as my first familiar. As my words fell, a crystal-clear teardrop quietly slid down the girl's fair cheek. She had waited too long for this moment, and now she had finally gotten it. The next day I took Liuli to the entrance of the novice trial space. This was a safe zone isolated by the military, within the alternate dimension, where the highest level monsters inside were only tier 5. All magical beasts dropped inside were implanted with special markers. Whenever a trial taker successfully killed one, corresponding points would automatically accumulate. Finally, this collected information would be recorded into the monitoring system, to be used for the final college entrance examination assessment. Soon the crowd discovered Liuli's identity, and they revealed mocking gazes one after another. Suddenly a sarcastic voice drifted over. Oh, isn't this you know who? Chen Ziming walked over slowly with his arm around the succubus. The succubus in his arms immediately chimed in coquettishly. Master. His name is Gu Xing. Contempt flashed in Chen Ziming's eyes. Speaking of which, I should thank you. If it weren't for your generous yielding, how could I have contracted such an excellent familiar? Saying so, his right hand squeezed the succubus's waist forcefully. The succubus let out a coquettish moan. Only by following a genius like you can I realize my true value. And the surrounding people also echoed in agreement. How can a commoner like him compare to young Master Chen? Not to mention he has now contracted a trash familiar. Now he absolutely can't compare to young Master Chen. I watched Chen Ziming's performance with a calm expression, a faint smile even playing at the corners of my mouth. But Liuli stepped forward slowly with an angry look on her face, a trace of divine golden flame coercion leaking out. Liuli. I reached out and stopped her just in time. The most important thing right now is the novice trial. Don't let them affect your mindset. Yes, master. She took a deep breath and stepped back. And that strand of coercion dissipated along with it. I didn't say anything more. Calmly taking Liuli and disappearing into the trial entrance. Looking at our disappearing backs, the succubus frowned. Just now from Liuli, she seemed to feel a trace of oppression that made her heart palpitate. After passing through a blue light gate, the scene before my eyes changed abruptly. This was a massive forest. The sky was a hazy gray, and mist shrouded the surroundings. I took out a timer and set it for 4 hours. The novice trial space has a 4-hour time limit. Once the time reaches 0, we will be teleported out. Liuli now had her wings spread, hovering in the air. Don't worry, master. With me around you will absolutely be fine. A beast tamer in the awakening stage can be said to have no difference from an ordinary person. This situation will only alleviate upon reaching the transcendent realm, at which time the beast tamer's physical fitness will increase significantly, and they will also be able to contract a second familiar. Besides that, they will also awaken their own unique innate talent. Right at this moment, the sound of snapping branches suddenly came from deep within the thick mist. A magical beast fully 2 meters tall slowly revealed itself. It looked like a wild bull but was pitch black all over. Its copper bell-like beastly eyes flashing with a bloodthirsty red light. Seeing the attributes of the savage bone bull, my brows furrowed involuntarily. Right upon entering the novice trial space, we encountered an elite tier 2 magical beast. This luck really couldn't be considered good. Leave it to me, master. A blazing fighting spirit ignited in Liuli's eyes. Severing sin. With a clear shout, a dazzling golden flame rose up, in an instant condensing into a giant sword burning with holy flames. The savage bone bull was enraged by this sudden display of might, accompanied by a deafening roar. It launched its signature skill savage charge, charging straight at us like an out-of-control chariot. Yet Liuli remained perfectly still, until the savage bull charged right in front of her. A flawless golden arc sliced through the mist. The savage bone bull maintained its charging posture, but crashed heavily to the ground behind Liuli. Its massive body had actually been neatly cleaved into two. Immediately after, a deep blue light rose and merged into the center of Liuli's brow. Just killing one tier 2 savage bone bull allowed Liuli's level to directly break through to tier 1. At the same time, I only felt a buzzing sound in my mind, and my level also subsequently reached awakening tier 1. Then I focused my gaze on Liuli's various attributes. The attributes of Liuli, who had just broken through to tier 1, actually completely crushed the tier 2 savage bone bull. And moving forward, this gap would expand geometrically as her level increased. With Liuli's current strength, ordinary tier 3 magical beasts would be completely unable to withstand a single blow from her. Therefore, what was restricting our leveling speed now was not the strength of the magical beasts, but rather how to quickly and accurately track them down. Meanwhile, in the monitoring room of the trial space, the person in charge, Su Feng, was staring intently at the large fluorescent screen in the center, his brows furrowing tighter and tighter. Is this the only level of this year's students from Linyuan City? Apart from Chen Ziming barely reaching A rank, the others can't even reach B rank. Just as he was about to look away, his peripheral vision suddenly caught an abnormal piece of data. 200. 500. 2000. The points behind the name Gu Xing were skyrocketing at an almost terrifying speed, eventually breaking directly through the 5,000 mark. How is this possible? Why is his point growth rate so terrifying? Su Feng yelled abruptly. Bring me Gu Xing's file. The staff member beside him didn't dare to delay, and immediately brought over my file. And after reviewing the file, his brows furrowed even deeper. He contracted a crippled familiar. How could he achieve such dazzling results? But the next moment he seemed to have thought of something. Could it be that the angel familiar has recovered? On the screen my points were still climbing, and the potential rating had already reached S rank. Su Feng's hands began to tremble unconsciously. Quick! Immediately notify the city lord. After 3 hours of leveling up, Liuli's level successfully reached awakening tier 3. Infinitely close to awakening tier 4. A golden arc flashed beside her, and several elite tier 3 magical beasts besieging Liuli were also cleaved in two. Master! Earlier during the battle I noticed, there seems to be a big guy to the east. If my perception isn't wrong, it should be an awakening tier 5 magical beast. Hearing this, I immediately perked up. An awakening tier 5 magical beast was enough for Liuli's level to go up another large chunk. Following Liuli's guidance, we stealthily approached. Sure enough, it was an awakening tier 5 bloodthirsty tiger magical beast, and its quality was not low. However, just as we were about to sneak over, we found that this bloodthirsty tiger was currently driving a 5-person squad into a desperate situation. The strongest in this squad was merely a tier 3 beast tamer. Class rep, what do we do? Several team members looked in despair at the girl in the center of the group. Shun Ruoxue bit her lower lip tightly, facing a tier 5 excellent aptitude bloodthirsty tiger. For their novice team, even running away was an extravagant hope. Listen up. We might not make it out of this valley, but even if we die, we have to tear a piece of flesh off it. Understood. The 4 of them gritted their teeth, their voices carrying the fear of death. The bloodthirsty tiger licked its fangs with its scarlet tongue. It seemed to have finally grown tired of this cat-and-mouse game. With a deafening roar, the bloodthirsty tiger lunged violently, amidst the screeching sound of its sharp claws tearing the air. Shun Ruoxue could even smell the blood-reeking wind hitting her face. Seeing this scene from the side, I hesitated no longer. Liuli, activate Seraph form. The moment Liuli received the command, she released the shackles on her body. In an instant the color of the world changed. Crimson holy flames erupted suddenly, vaporizing all the gray mist within 100 meters. Even the air was burned to the point of twisting and warping. Under my shocked gaze, a breathtakingly beautiful figure slowly walked out from the raging flames. Her wings burning with holy fire fully unfurled. Every feather flowed with brilliant golden divine runes. As if she were a goddess of fire stepping straight out of mythology. Under this divine coercion, the air in the entire valley seemed to freeze. Although the bloodthirsty tiger was tier 5. Under Liuli's coercion, its pouncing motion came to a screeching halt. Its massive body eerily suspended in midair. Class Rep. Is this a familiar? A member of the squad mumbled, their voice trembling. Shun Ruoxue opened her mouth, her throat so dry it hurt. It should be. Under everyone's horrified gazes, the golden holy sword in Liuli's hand swung casually. The trajectory of the holy sword left a scorching afterimage in the air. The bloodthirsty tiger let out a desperate roar. Its tough body that it was so proud of was like thin paper before the power of a legendary tier familiar. Its pupils were still frozen in terror. But its body had already begun to slide apart slowly along a smooth cut. A deep blue orb of light the size of a basketball rose from the bloodthirsty tiger's remains and slowly merged into the center of Liuli's brow. When the last wisp of holy flame dissipated into the air, the golden divine runes around her faded like the tide, and her burning wings turned into scattered sparks of fire. After confirming there was no danger, Liuli cast her gaze toward the shadows not far away. When my figure walked out from the shadows, everyone was stunned. Gusheng? Shun Ruoxue's pupils contracted violently, her voice unconsciously raising an octave. It wasn't until I approached that I realized the people I had saved were actually acquaintances. Class Rep, what a coincidence. See coincidence. Shun Ruoxue replied mechanically. A normally obscure student now had someone standing beside him. A legendary tier familiar capable of one-shotting a tier 5 magical beast. This sense of incongruity was so strong that it made her temples throb. I nodded politely and signaled Liuli to leave. There was less than half an hour remaining, so I had to hurry and get Liuli's level up to awakening tier 5. Liuli obediently followed, not forgetting to bow slightly to the group before leaving. This action made the squad members collectively gasp. Class Rep, did you see that? When that familiar bowed, I almost dropped to my knees. Then what if we encounter Gu Xing during the assessment in 10 days? Shun Ruoxue said without hesitation. We immediately surrender. Inside the city lord's manor, Xiaoxiu stood respectfully to the side, his gaze carrying a bit of nervousness. In front of him, a middle-aged man in a military uniform stood with his hands behind his back. He was the commander of the entire southern military region. The true number 1 in charge, Wei Yuan. Commander Wei, why have you come in person? Wei Yuan turned around and smiled. I just came from Lanyang City. They produced a seedling with A-rank potential this year, which is not bad. Although he said this, a trace of disappointment still flashed deep in Wei Yuan's eyes. As the supreme commander of the southern military region, his personal inspection of the cities this time was obviously to seek out true top-tier talents, and the results evidently left him disappointed. Commander Wei, the situation in our Linyuan city this year is probably not much different from Lanyang City. Wei Yuan sighed softly, unable to hide the disappointment between his brows. Never mind. Familiar summoning ultimately depends on the will of heaven, and cannot be forced. I'll go check out some other cities. Just as Xiaoxiu was about to see him out, the city lord's assistant stumbled into the room. Xiaoxiu's face darkened. Losing face in front of his old superior made him quite embarrassed. What is the meaning of this? How am I usually teaching you? Be composed when encountering issues. Only then did the assistant notice the big shot in the hall. But he couldn't care about much else. City Lord. A student with S-rank potential has appeared in our Linyuan city. What? Xiaoxiu's voice abruptly spiked. Even Wei Yuan, who had a calm expression just moments ago, whipped around and cast an astonished glance. Seeing that Wei Yuan's interest was clearly piqued, Xiaoxiu suggested tentatively. Commander Wei, why don't we go take a look? A glint of sharp light flashed in Wei Yuan's eyes. Let's go. Meanwhile, the monitoring room was already boiling over with excitement. Su Feng stared deathly hard at the monitoring screen. Why did the score jump so much in an instant? Did he wipe out a monster nest? The eye-catching number on the screen smashed into his heart like a heavy hammer. First place, Gu Xing, 25,000 points. And the score of the second place, Chen Ziming, was still stuck at a pitiful 3,000 points. His gaze shifted to the potential rating column, and his pupils suddenly contracted. Potential rating. SSS rank. Inside the trial space, Liuli's snow-white wings were stained with the blood of magical beasts. When the head of the last tier Wu demonic wolf flew high into the air, a dazzling golden light suddenly burst forth from Liuli's body. Awakening tier 5 achieved. Standing to the side, I immediately checked Liuli's various attributes. The terrifying aspect of the little angel's legendary tier aptitude was finally beginning to show itself now. Although her level was only awakening tier 5, Liuli's various attribute stats had already crushed ordinary familiars at awakening tier 7 or 8. I stared at the cultivation suggestion column on the system interface. As long as I gathered light crystals holy spirit marrow and liquid angel holy blood, these three materials, Liuli's aptitude would welcome a leap in improvement. It was just that the largest familiar trading house in Linyuan City didn't even have any news of these three materials. At this time the restless energy around Liuli finally calmed down. She trotted over. Master, we should be leaving now, right? At this moment the numbers on the timer exactly hit 0. I smiled and grabbed Liuli's hand. Hold on to me tight. The next moment, a blinding white light swallowed the entire world. When we opened our eyes again, it was the familiar plaza of Linyuan City. Right then Su Feng quickly stepped forward. This trial director, who was normally unsmiling, was now beaming with smiles. Student Gusheng, your performance in the novice trial is truly astonishing. The city lord specifically instructed that he would like to invite you over for a chat. I was stunned for a moment, but soon understood. I had anticipated such a result beforehand. As my figure disappeared at the end of the plaza, the other participants were only just beginning to be teleported back one after another. When Chen Ziming appeared in the center of the plaza with his arm around the succubus, he was immediately surrounded tightly by a group of fawning students. Listening to these flatteries, the corners of Chen Ziming's mouth nearly reached his ears. Ever since contracting the succubus, not only had he shaken off the bad reputation of a playboy, but he also received praise wherever he went. Thinking of this, he became even more satisfied with the succubus in his arms. Mayor, I will reward you properly tonight. Tomorrow I'll take you to the alternate dimension to level up. Hearing this, the succubus immediately blushed with shame. I'll listen to whatever Brother Ziming says. This half-refusing, half-inviting look made Chen Ziming feel hot all over, wishing he could take her home right away. Just then the leaderboard was announced. Everyone's eyes immediately focused on the large screen in the center of the plaza. Chen Ziming smugly put his arm around the succubus, a victorious smile hanging on his lips. Am I seeing things? Why is young Master Chen's name in second place? A sudden voice instantly shattered Chen Ziming's sweet dream like a clap of thunder. He whipped his head around and stared fixedly at the glaring data on the light screen. Second place, Chen Ziming. Points, 4,100. Potential rating, A rank. Chen Ziming's eyes nearly split open, his voice changing pitch. This is impossible. And the succubus likewise stiffened all over. She had been keeping an eye on the list all along. Her goal was to check the ranking of the original master she had abandoned. Under everyone's gaze, the first place was slowly revealed. Gu Xing. Points, 44,300. Potential rating, SSS rank. The moment this ranking was unveiled, Chen Ziming froze in place as if struck by lightning. He stared deathly hard at those two numbers. 44,300 versus 4,100. A full tenfold gap. Chen Ziming's eyes were bloodshot red, his hands violently gripping the staff member's shoulders. How is this possible? Cheating. This is definitely cheating. The staff member's voice was terrifyingly calm. This result was personally verified by the city lord. Is young Master Chen questioning the city lord's judgment? This sentence was like a basin of ice water poured over his head. Chen Ziming staggered back 2 steps. At the thought that the poor kid he had once trampled underfoot was actually using this method to humiliate him. The anger in his chest was about to burn him to ashes. His eyes were bloodshot like a maddened beast. I want to hire the top demon hunting team. If 10 teams aren't enough, then 20. At the academy assessment in 10 days. I will make that piece of trash kneel before me and beg for mercy. On the other side, under Su Feng's guidance, I arrived at the city lord's manor. Upon seeing me, Xiaoxiu immediately stood up to introduce. Student Gusheng. This is the general commander of the southern military region Wei Yuan. My pupils shrank slightly. This name was absolutely thunderous in Longxia Nation. A monarch tier beast tamer. The stabilizing pillar of the southern war zone. A true existence capable of turning the tide in times of national crisis. Upon recovering my wits, I immediately bowed to them one by one. "Greetings, Commander." "Greetings, City Lord." Wei Yuan nodded slightly and said warmly, "Student Gusheng. Congratulations on receiving an SSS rank potential rating in the Novice trial." "Thank you, Commander. However, the Commander calling me here should be for another matter, right?" A trace of appreciation flashed in Wei Yuan's eyes. "Student Gusheng. I do indeed have a favor to ask." Saying this, his gaze swept lightly toward Xiaoxiu. The City Lord immediately understood and respectfully exited the room. But in his heart stormy waves surged. Just what kind of secret was this? That even he, a City Lord, had no right to know? Once the door was closed, Wei Yuan raised his hand and waved it lightly. A pale blue light curtain rippled outwards like a water wave, enveloping the entire room within it. My pupils shrank slightly, revealing a shocked expression. "This is the power of a domain." Wei Yuan smiled calmly. "A basic application of the domain. You will naturally master it once you advance to the commander tier. This thing is primarily to ensure our conversation is not spied upon by the outside world." My expression gradually turned serious. For a monarch tier beast tamer to treat this so cautiously meant it was by no means ordinary. It could potentially concern the fate of the Longxia nation. "Student Gusheng. You should know that the alternate dimension is another world currently merging with the blue planet. Every nation is establishing defensive lines within the alternate dimension to provide training environments for low-tier beast tamers." I nodded. This piece of history was recorded in textbooks long ago. Wei Yuan suddenly shifted the topic, and a light screen map appeared subsequently. But Longxia nation's defensive line construction lags far behind other nations. 3 years ago we discovered a giant trial ground at a critical location. But this trial ground is situated exactly at the most crucial node of the defensive line. Without clearing this trial ground, the defensive line will always have a gap. And those demonic creatures could invade through this gap at any time. Hearing this, I couldn't help but look up and ask, "But it seems I can't be of much help, right?" Wei Yuan raised his hand to interrupt, his fingertips tapping lightly in the void. A three-dimensional projection then unfolded. The vast majority of the projection showed the green of cleared, except for the most core area, which still flashed a glaring red light. Our army has already conquered all other levels of the trial areas, except for this last location. It requires a team of 3 people at Awakening Tier 5 or below to challenge it. And the difficulty level is Abyssal Tier. Trial grounds are special secret realms in the alternate dimension, and those who clear them can obtain rich rewards. Based on difficulty, Longxia Nation officials divided them into 5 levels: Normal, Hard, Nightmare, Hell, and the Peak Abyssal. Wei Yuan said solemnly, "I need you and 2 other SSS rank geniuses to complete this ultimate challenge together, to help Longxia Nation finish the construction of its defensive line." Hearing this, I finally understood why this general commander of the military region would personally seek out novice beast tamers in the awakening stage. This trial indeed has massive risks. So as long as you participate, you will have the qualification to choose 1 item from the southern military region's treasury. As Wei Yuan spoke, he raised his hand and unfolded a light screen in the air. Phantoms of countless rare materials circulated within the light screen. I looked up and casually glanced at it, but my gaze was instantly drawn to one material in particular. "Commander Wei, there is a whole light crystal in the military treasury?" A trace of surprise flashed in Wei Yuan's eyes. "It seems this item is very important to you. As long as you agree to participate in the trial, it is yours regardless of success or failure." "Deal." I agreed without hesitation. I had planned to accept this kind of matter serving the country anyway. The light crystal now was purely an unexpected bonus. And Wei Yuan also breathed a sigh of relief. "Without further ado, we depart right now. For every day delayed, the gap in the defensive line will swallow the lives of several more Longxia beast tamers." Having said that, Wei Yuan actually took me and Liuli straight into the sky. Amidst the sound of piercing the air, a cloud-swallowing sparrow that blocked the sky, and the sun suddenly tore through the clouds. And the 3 of us landed steadily on its broad back. I subconsciously probed for the information of this cloud-swallowing sparrow. The uniform row of question marks across all its attributes severely shocked my heart. This meant this familiar was at least at the commander tier, or even the higher monarch tier. 3 hours later, the cloud-swallowing sparrow landed at a military base surrounded by mountains. As I leapt down from the giant bird's back, I immediately noticed two young people in the camp plaza. Wei Yuan briefly introduced their information. Bing and Qin Tian are from Kyoto. Both SSS rank potential. Gu Xing is from Linyuan City. Also SSS rank potential. This trial will be tackled by the three of you together. I greeted them out of politeness. And then checked the information of their familiars. Bing standing on the left wore all white. And a little bird as clear as ice crystal perched on her shoulder. Frost Mystic Ice Phoenix. Aptitude, Legendary Yi Star. Level, Awakening Tier Wu. Skills, Frost Cone Pierce. Frost Storm. Frost Ring Confinement. After use the familiar enters a weakened state. Her gaze lingered on Liuli for a few extra seconds. A trace of surprise flashing in her ice-blue pupils. As for Qin Tian on the right, he had his arms crossed with an arrogant expression. And beside him stood a 3-meter-tall bronze-colored Treant. War Treant. Aptitude, Legendary Yi Star. Level, Awakening Tier Wu. Skills, Root Strangling. Giant Wood Bombardment. Ironwood Barrier. He glanced sideways at me, revealing a hint of disdain. Small cities like that have geniuses too? He probably got SSS rank by farming points, right? I didn't mind Qin Tian's attitude. Comparing the data of the three familiars, I gradually formed a judgment in my heart. Although Liuli's various attributes weren't considered the absolute peak, her advantage lay in being balanced without any shortcomings. More importantly, she had one more skill slot than the other two familiars. Bing's Frost Mystic Ice Phoenix was obviously superior to Qin Tian's War Treant, especially that Frost Ring Confinement skill. Just like Liuli's Final Elegy, both required paying a certain price to use. As for the War Treant, aside from excellent strength and constitution attributes, it seemed to have no other outstanding points. All three skills were mediocre. And it didn't even possess a finishing skill. It was estimated that this War Treant was only just barely touching the threshold of legendary aptitude. At this time Wei Yuan's gaze swept across the three of us. Do you have anything else to prepare? If not, let's set off now. Soon we arrived at an ancient grand hall. Wei Yuan introduced. This was once a sacred land of the elf race. But for some unknown reason the entire elf race disappeared, leaving only this trial ground. By clearing this trial, you should be able to obtain decent rewards. But if you encounter danger, choose to withdraw in time. After all, your safety is the most important. Qin Tian patted his chest and guaranteed. Rest assured, Commander Wei. With me here, this trial is practically in the bag. I hope so. Wei Yuan gave him a deep look, then pointed to the stone pedestal in the center of the hall. Place your hands on it to initiate the trial. Then he solemnly gave a military salute to the three of us. Finally, I wish you a triumphant return. Under everyone's gaze, we simultaneously placed our hands on the stone pedestal. In an instant, a blinding white light shot into the sky, completely swallowing our figures. Inside the trial ground, the pitch-black soil was as if soaked in ink, with ruins everywhere in total desolation. Qin Tian suddenly stopped walking, his face full of arrogance. Hey, country boy. No matter what method you use to sneak an SSS rating, when we encounter danger later, just hide honestly behind Sister Bing and me. With us here, at least we can save your little life in the face of danger. I raised an eyebrow with great interest. This young master from Kyoto was a bit arrogant, but he wasn't really a bad guy. No problem. You go first, I won't steal your thunder. Saying that, I even made a please go ahead gesture. At least you know your place. Qin Tian snorted in satisfaction, and took large strides to the very front of the group. As for Bing on the side, she seemed to completely disregard these matters, wholeheartedly communicating with the Ice Phoenix on her shoulder. Soon we encountered three monsters. Trial Golem, Balance Type. Level, Awakening Tier Liu. Strength, 100. Constitution, 100. Spirit, 100. Speed, 100. Skills, 1000. Mechanism Heavy Punch. Balanced Force Field. Seeing the information of these three trial golems, I finally understood the difficulty of the abyssal trial. Trial golems with all attributes at 100 had already reached the level of excellent aptitude Tier 6 magical beasts. Their actual strength even exceeded magical beasts of the same level by a margin. What was even more terrifying was that this was merely the first wave of monsters in the trial. Qin Tian had already taken large strides forward. Sister Bing, don't intervene. Just leave these iron lumps to me. Bing nodded slightly. With Qin Tian able to obtain an SSS rank potential rating, killing these three trial golems shouldn't be a problem. Treant. Root Strangling. With Qin Tian's command, the war trent's thick root system burst out of the ground, wrapping around the three golems like giant pythons. The friction between the wood fibers and the metal shells produced an ear-piercing screech. Finally, amidst three explosive sounds, the golems turned into fragments scattered across the floor. "How's my tray, Aunt?" Qin Tian turned his head, smugly, his face begging for praise. I exchanged a glance with Liuli, and we tacitly gave a thumbs up. Liuli even added with a face full of admiration, "So amazing." Qin Tian was flattered into floating, grinning as he said, "Even though your strength is a bit lacking, if you observe my battles carefully, you can definitely learn a lot of things." After that, Qin Tian kept taking on the role of clearing the path. As we went deeper and deeper, the trial golems we faced became stronger and stronger. When 5 awakening Tier 7 trial golems blocked the way, Qin Tian finally couldn't smile anymore. With average attributes of 120 points, the war Treant was obviously finding it extremely strenuous to cope. "Young Master Qin, do you need a hand?" I kindly approached and asked. "No need." Qin Tian gritted his back teeth and endured stubbornly. But anyone could see how much he was struggling. But Ing Bing on the side spoke with a cold voice. "I'll crowd control. You deal damage." Hearing Ing Bing's voice, Qin Tian instantly breathed a sigh of relief. He could resolve these 5 trial golems, but it would require paying a certain price. Next, with Ing Bing joining in, the battle situation instantly reversed. As the frost mystic ice phoenix flapped its wings, the joints of the trial golems were instantly covered in frost. The war Treant seized this opportunity, raising its thick branches to smash the frozen golems one by one. For the rest of the journey, I was happy to enjoy the leisure. And it wasn't long before we smashed through the first stage like splitting bamboo. At the end of the road, 3 deep and dark passageways appeared. This was the second stage of the abyssal trial. According to the intelligence provided by Wei Yuan, these 3 passageways required the 3 of us to each choose one, and independently complete our respective trials before we could enter the 3rd stage. As for the contents of the 3rd stage, even Wei Yuan didn't know. The previous trial takers only reached the 2nd stage at most. At this moment, Qin Tian suddenly turned to look at me, his tone carrying obvious suspicion. "Can you handle it?" He naturally wasn't worried about Ing Bing's strength at all. As the top ranker in Kyoto City's novice trial, her strength was even above his own. But if this genius from the countryside dragged them down, then their trial this time would still end in failure. I didn't argue and walked straight towards the middle passageway. A man can never say he can't. The moment I stepped into the passageway, I realized that I seemed to be placed in another world. The entrance I came through had long disappeared, replaced by a circular hall. And in front of me, a mechanical figure slowly condensed and took shape. Trial Golem, Enhanced Type. Level, Awakening Tier Wu. Strength, 90. Constitution, 90. Spirit, 90. Speed, 90. Skills, 1000 Mechanism Heavy Punch. Attribute Boost. Balanced Force Field, Stackable. I furrowed my brow slightly. The enhanced type compared to the normal balanced type golem was obviously stronger by more than just 1 level. Not only did it have an extra buff skill in Attribute Boost, but more troublesome was that balanced force field. If several enhanced type trial golems appeared at the same time later on, it would be difficult to deal with. "Liuli, finish it." Before my voice faded, Liuli's silver-white wings fully unfurled. She condensed a long sword burning with blazing flames in her hand, and her figure instantly flashed in front of the golem. A golden sword light slashed like a crescent moon, and the enhanced type golem snapped in response, turning into 2 segments of wreckage that crashed to the ground. Although the strength of this awakening Tier 5 golem was quite good, in front of Liuli, whose attributes had all broken past 150 points, it was still unable to withstand a single blow. Following the golem's collapse, the blue light curtain blocking the way ahead also dissipated. Inside the second space, what awaited us was still an enhanced type trial golem. Only its level had been raised to awakening Tier 6. Looking at the golem, whose attributes had surged to 120 points, I couldn't help but furrow my brows tightly. No wonder previous trial takers couldn't pass this stage. The attributes of this awakening Tier 6 enhanced type golem right before me were already comparable to a Tier 5 epic grade familiar. And this was merely the second checkpoint. Liuli's sword light flashed again, and the trial golem fell in response. In the next space, 2 awakening Tier 6 golems appeared simultaneously. The balanced force field began to show its power, suppressing Liuli's various attributes by about 10 points. Fortunately, Liuli still held an absolute advantage. And soon she dispatched these 2 awakening Tier 6 trial golems. Subsequently, the difficulty of the trial continued to climb. When we arrived at the final space, 3 trial golems emitting a terrifying aura were arrayed and waiting. Trial Golem, Enhanced Type. Level, Awakening Tier Qi. Strength, 150. Constitution, 150. Spirit, 150. Speed, 150. Skills, 1000 Mechanism Heavy Punch. Attribute Boost Balanced Force Field, Stackable. Looking at the 3 Enhanced Type Trial Golems confronting Liuli. Under the stacking of 3 balanced force fields, Liuli's attributes were suppressed by nearly 30 points. This meant that if Liuli did not activate her Seraph form, dealing with these golems would be quite tricky. In an instant I made a decision. Liuli, activate Seraph form. Let's end this quickly. The moment the little girl responded, crimson flames erupted explosively from around her body. 4 wings of light unfurled behind her back. And a divine blazing energy fluctuation swept across the entire space. 3 golden sword beams sliced through the sky like shooting stars. The absolute crush of doubled attribute values reaching 300 points. The 3 enhanced type golems didn't even have time to react. Before being cleanly split in 2. Their remains under the scorching Seraph's flames instantly turned into ash and smoke. Meanwhile, in the core monitoring room of the trial ground, a giant stone pedestal floated in the center, displaying the trial taker's clearance progress in real time. Commander, they've entered the second stage. Wei Yuan nodded slightly upon hearing this, his gaze solemnly fixed on the stone pedestal. He knew better than anyone that starting from the second stage was the true test of this trial. During the trial last year, apart from that genius with SSS rank potential, who barely made it to the end, the other 2 SS rank geniuses only completed 70% of the progress before being eliminated. Wei Yuan unconsciously thought to himself, if they failed again this time, they could only wait until next year. Pass down the order. Have the border legions enter a state of first-degree combat readiness. After clearing the second stage, a portion of the trial ground will disappear. And when that happens, demonic creatures will definitely surge in from the gap. Yes, sir. Just as the adjutant was about to turn and leave, from the corner of his eye, he suddenly caught sight of the stone pedestal flashing with a dazzling light. Commander, it seems someone has cleared the second stage. Wei Yuan snapped around, his eyes locking onto the stone pedestal. He saw that it clearly displayed 5 large words. 1 person has cleared. Commander, I think it must be Ying Bing. The adjutant analyzed after recovering his wits. After all, the Ying family's bloodline is special, allowing them to contract only 1 familiar in their entire life. The adjutant's thought was exactly what Wei Yuan was thinking. The Ying family, as one of the oldest families in the Longxia nation, has an extremely special bloodline inheritance. Clan members can only contract 1 familiar their entire life, but their bloodline power can gradually enhance the familiar's aptitude. Therefore, a Ying family member's familiar starts at the epic grade at the very worst. But Wei Yuan's expression remained grave. This girl from the Ying family is the one with the highest talent in nearly a century. It's within reason that she could clear it so quickly. However, if Gu Xing and Qin Tian fail to clear it, no matter how strong Ying Bing is, it won't help the situation. Just then the adjutant suddenly exclaimed again. Commander, another person has cleared it. The central circular hall of the trial ground. The moment Ying Bing stepped out of the passageway, her cold gaze quickly swept over the surroundings. Hi! A clear bright voice suddenly rang out, as she saw me leaning lazily against a stone pillar resting. The always calm Ying Bing was rarely at a loss for words. In the trial just now she had held almost nothing back. Yet she was still a step slower than this guy. After a moment of silence, Ying Bing stepped forward. How long have you been here? I said lightly. About 10 minutes or so. Ying Bing's pupils shrank slightly. A 10-minute gap. This meant that the opponent's familiar strength was far above the Ice Phoenix. Perhaps sensing the thoughts in its master's mind, the Ice Phoenix flapped its wings in dissatisfaction. After Ying Bing reached out to console the Ice Phoenix, she turned and walked towards the other side of the hall. Only her cold gaze still drifted from time to time between Liuli and me. Time passed minute by minute, second by second in silence. The third passageway remained completely quiet. My expression gradually became grave. I guess Qin Tian had an accident. Otherwise it's impossible for him to take this long to clear it. Ying Bing likewise furrowed her elegant brows. It wasn't easy to gather 3 SSS rank geniuses this year. If they still couldn't clear this trial this year. Just at this moment I stood up abruptly. Liuli, let's go. Bing turned her head stunned. Where are you going? To the rescue. These two simple words made Bing's pupils contract sharply. Are you crazy? The second stage tests individual ability. Once someone intervenes, the difficulty will directly triple. But my footsteps didn't hesitate at all as I directly ordered. Liuli. A blazing battle intent ignited in the little angel's eyes. Seraph form fully released. Under Bing's shocked gaze, Liuli transformed into a war angel bathed in holy flames. And crimson radiance lit up the entire hall. Liuli. After entering, you must eliminate half the golems immediately. Otherwise, with 10 balanced force fields stacked together, even you will be suppressed. Having said that, our figures plunged into the gloomy passageway. Bing stood blankly in place. Ice Phoenix. Do you think we truly deserve to be called geniuses? Inside the dark passageway, the gnarled branches of the war treant firmly protected Qin Tian at its core. If not for the war trent's ironwood barrier skill, I'm afraid Qin Tian would have long been eliminated by now. Curled up in the tree cocoon, Qin Tian clenched his teeth, but was completely helpless. Damn it. Why is this trial puppet so strong? Is such a level really something a human can clear? The trial puppet relentlessly attacked the trunk of the war treant. The war trent's ironwood barrier was also steadily losing ground. Qin Tian's face looked incredibly ugly. Treant. Root strangulation. The war trent's twisted roots burst out of the ground, lashing fiercely at the puppet's chest like a giant python. But it only left a few shallow marks on the metal shell. The trial puppet merely staggered back a few steps. Then its scarlet eyes flickered twice before it lunged again. The attack just now did not cause any substantial damage to the trial puppet. The trial puppet, made of alloy, happened to be the exact nemesis of a physical-type beast like the war treant. What's more, after defeating this trial-type puppet, there were still 3 awakening Tier 7 trial puppets left. Thinking of this, a wave of despair surged in Qin Tian's heart. Should I give up? However, just as this thought surfaced, a deafening explosion suddenly echoed from deep within the passage. Blazing red light surged over like a tide, instantly swallowing the trial puppet. When the smoke and dust cleared, reflected in Qin Tian's widened eyes, was a figure that absolutely shouldn't have appeared. How could it be you? He never expected that the person coming from the end of the passage to save him would actually be me. I raised an eyebrow looking at young Master Qin, who was covered in wood chips. Yo! Has young Master Qin been beaten silly by the puppets? You don't even recognize your savior anymore. Qin Tian's face flushed red. He pointed his finger and gestured in the air for a long time, but ultimately couldn't even squeeze out a complete sentence. I put away my joking expression. All right. It's time to go, young Master Qin. The trial puppet in the final space has already been dealt with by me. When Qin Tian returned to the hall, this usually proud scion of a noble family was still in a state of shock. This guy from the countryside not only crushed him, but might even be significantly stronger than the #1 genius in Kyoto. And at this moment Bing was looking at me, as if looking at a monster that defied common sense. He really cleared the triple difficulty trial all by himself. He really killed 10 awakening Tier 7 enhanced trial puppets. Next, we didn't rashly start the final trial. To ensure nothing went wrong, before starting the third trial, we had to let our respective beasts recover to their optimal states. When our beasts were all adjusted to their peak condition, Bing slowly walked towards me. You will be the main attacker for the third trial. This proposal made me slightly startled. I turned to look. With Qin Tian's arrogance, would he accept such an arrangement? However, this usually haughty noble young master didn't object at all. I also agree with Sister Bing's idea. My treant is durable. It can definitely help stall for some time. After finalizing the tactics, we walked to the center of the circular hall. Here stood the stone pedestal to activate the third trial. When our palms touched the cold surface of the stone pedestal simultaneously, the entire hall suddenly lit up with a faint blue glow. A mechanized voice echoed in the void. Final trial confirmation program initiated. Then a light screen unfolded, its blood-red text exceptionally glaring. Final trial warning. Rule 1. Once the trial is initiated, you cannot exit midway. Rule 2. Only by clearing it can you leave the trial space. Rule 3. Those who fail will remain here forever. Please confirm yes or no. I noticed a line of almost transparent small text at the bottom right corner of the screen. Since the establishment of the trial grounds, the clear rate for the final trial is 0. Looking at this prompt, my expression became solemn. If the three of us failed to clear the final trial, then all three of our lives would be left here. My gaze first landed on Qin Tian. This noble young master currently had a very serious face. I'm participating. Before I left, the old man laid down the law. Either return with the glory of clearing the trial, or never step foot through the gates of the Qin family again. Hearing this, I immediately nodded. The Qin family was the same as the Ying family. Both were noble families with hundreds of years of heritage. As the heir to the Qin family, Qin Tian could be proud. He could be arrogant, but he absolutely could not be cowardly and fear death. When my gaze turned to Yingbing, this aloof young woman just lifted her eyelids. But she carried absolute determination. Participating. Understanding their choices. The corners of my mouth involuntarily curled into a smile. My fingertips chose yes without hesitation. With a loud boom, the space in the center of the hall suddenly distorted. A blurry massive shadow was condensing. Trial puppet, ultimate. Aptitude, epic Joestar. Level, awakening tier ba. Strength, 301. Constitution, 340. Spirit, 256. Speed, 240. Skills, equilibrium force field, complete. Realm shattering hammer. Stable barrier. Seeing the target of the final trial, the corners of my mouth also twitched involuntarily. Strength and constitution attributes exceeded 300 points. Even the slightly weaker spirit and speed attributes had reached 250 points. Such a thing. Is it really something an awakening tier 5 novice beast tamer can clear? Qin Tian's face was full of horror. He involuntarily took half a step back. Brother Sing, can we really kill this thing? Qin Tian's gaze swept toward the war treant beside him. In front of this trial puppet, the 3-meter-tall war treant looked like a little chick. Seeing this trial puppet, Yingbing similarly frowned tightly. The mystic frost ice phoenix on her shoulder was clearly also feeling the terrifying nature of this puppet, and began to cry out uneasily. While I was rapidly calculating a way to kill this trial puppet, if Liuli activated Seraphim mode, her attributes would increase to around 300 points. Combined with the bonus from the judgment skill, it should be enough to cleave through this puppet's massive 340-point constitution. However, the trial puppet wouldn't just stand there and let Liuli hack at it. This required the beasts of Yingbing and Qin Tian to buy Liuli 3 seconds of time. Yingbing, Qin Tian, I need you to buy Liuli at least 3 seconds of time. Hearing my voice, Qin Tian's body jolted. Don't worry, Brother Xing. We might not be able to kill this puppet, but stalling for time is still something the war treant can do. Yingbing beside him also nodded. Although the mystic frost ice phoenix was not good at attacking, it was extremely good at crowd control. She and Qin Tian working together should be able to control this trial puppet for 3 seconds. I looked at their beasts but wasn't very optimistic. But under such a massive gap there were no other choices. We could only take a gamble. Qin Tian, have the war treant use root strangulation to bind the trial puppet. As soon as my command fell, Qin Tian immediately directed the war treant to launch an attack. War treant, release ironwood barrier to increase root strength. Then use root strangulation to entangle. Target, the puppet's 4 limbs. The war treant's dark thick roots burst out of the ground like giant pythons. In the instant the trial puppet just finished condensing, they tightly entangled its 4 limbs. Those root systems overlapped layer upon layer, wrapping the puppet airtight. While Qin Tian was acting, crimson flames ignited around Liuli. Seraphim form fully activated. She turned into a line of fire shooting straight at the puppet. The air distorted wherever she passed. I turned my head to look at Yingbing. Have the Ice Phoenix release Frost Storm to freeze its joints. The mystic Frost Ice Phoenix let out a clear resonant cry and took flight. Its body rapidly expanded. In the blink of an eye it restored its true form of over 2 meters. It flapped its wings and a biting cold current surged toward the puppet like a tide. Thick ice crystals immediately condensed at the puppet's joints and continuously spread towards its entire body. Meanwhile my gaze remained locked on Liuli. The aura of the soaring Liuli climbed steadily. Her seraphim wings trailed brilliant streaks of fire behind her. As she approached the puppet, the blazing flames around her were as dazzling as the rising sun. Seeing this scene, a glimmer of hope flashed in Qin Tian and Yingbing's eyes. They could clearly feel the coercion emanating from Liuli at this moment was actually on par with the trial puppet. However, my face was somewhat heavy. Unease surged in my heart like a tide. All of this was going too smoothly. Right at this moment, the red glow in the trial puppet's eyes suddenly flared. The energy coercion of the equilibrium force field surged wildly. My heart suddenly contracted. A strong sense of crisis swept through my entire body. Liuli, retreat immediately. Hearing my loud shout, Liuli unhesitatingly folded her seraphim wings and retreated violently. In almost the same instant, the war trent's roots shattered inch by inch. The mystic frost ice phoenix's frost melted instantly. Realm-shattering hammer. The trial puppet clasped its fists together and smashed them fiercely into the ground like a falling meteor. A violent shockwave swept out. The ground cracked inch by inch, rubble flying. Liuli barely dodged this strike. The edges of her seraphim wings were still grazed by the aftershock. The scorching flames flickered violently. If she had been half a second slower. With the trial puppet's terrifying 340 points of strength, plus the skill's amplification, even she would have been severely injured or near death under this strike. Seeing Liuli successfully dodge this attack, I breathed a sigh of relief. But very quickly I discovered a more terrifying fact. This trial puppet was not a dead object. It possessed combat intelligence. Its target from the very beginning was Liuli. That was why it put on a show, deliberately looking like it was controlled by the war treant and the mystic frost ice phoenix. The purpose of this was just to lure Liuli closer, and then launch a sneak attack, to eliminate the enemy on the field that posed the greatest threat to it. Having missed its strike, the trial puppet let out a deafening roar. Its scarlet mechanical pupils suddenly turned to the war treant. Qin Tian, quickly tell the war treant to retreat. Just as my voice fell, the trial puppet suddenly sprang up, turning into a blur and charging straight for the war treant. Its massive iron fists condensed with majestic and terrifying energy. The realm-shattering hammer crashed down. The war treant hurriedly threw up its ironwood barrier. But the huge attribute gap made it completely unable to resist. Amidst a dull crashing sound, the war treant flew backward like a kite with a broken string, smashing heavily into the wall of the circular hall, its fate unknown. Qin Tian's face turned deathly pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood, then fainted dead away. A beast tamer and their beast are mentally linked. With the war treant suffering heavy trauma, he naturally couldn't escape unscathed. The trial puppet's gaze shifted once again, this time locking onto the mystic frost ice phoenix. If the mystic frost ice phoenix suffered heavy trauma again, this trial would be our grave. I shouted sharply. Liuli, save the ice phoenix. Fortunately, Liuli's speed was nearly 50 points higher than this trial puppet's. Before the trial puppet's giant fist smashed down, she turned into a streak of crimson light, and fiercely yanked the mystic frost ice phoenix out of the danger zone. The seraphim wings kicked up scorching airwaves. Liuli landed steadily beside me with the ice phoenix. The battle situation took a sharp turn for the worse. Qin Tian was unconscious. The war treant had lost its combat capability. The original siege plan completely collapsed in front of this trial puppet that possessed combat intuition. Yingbing's face was solemn, her voice low. Gu Xing, what do we do now? I didn't answer immediately. My gaze swept back and forth between the trial puppet and Liuli. The strength of awakening tier 9. Crushing level attributes. Unless I used Liuli's ultimate skill, it was almost impossible to defeat it head-on. But if I did that, Liuli would fall into a deep sleep. Her growth speed would definitely be greatly delayed. Just as I was weighing the pros and cons, Yingbing suddenly spoke up. If I can control it, are you confident you can kill it in one strike? I whipped my head around and instantly understood Yingbing's intention. The Mystic Frost Ice Phoenix's ultimate skill. Although it would similarly leave the beast in a weakened state, the cost was far less than Liuli's. Consequently, I nodded without hesitation. As long as you can control it, Liuli can definitely finish off this trial puppet. Hearing this, the will to fight suddenly ignited in Yingbing's eyes. Mystic Frost Ice Phoenix. Release Frost Ring Confinement. As Yingbing's command fell, piercing ice blue light suddenly bloomed around the Mystic Frost Ice Phoenix. At this moment, its spirit attribute numerical value soared by a full 200 points. The other attributes also suddenly rose by nearly 100 points. It seemed this beast's ultimate skill also relied on increasing the beast's various attributes, thereby achieving the purpose of enhancing the skill's effect. If Liuli in her seraphim state were to unleash her ultimate skill, could she achieve a secondary amplification on top of doubled attributes? But now was not the time to think about these things. Liuli, get ready. Hearing my command, Liuli's eyes burning with crimson flames locked onto the trial puppet. The flames around her body surged explosively. At the same time, The Ice Phoenix's aura also climbed to its peak state. One ice, one fire, two completely opposite energies raged within the trial space. The entire battlefield was interwoven with frost and roaring flames. The trial puppet clearly sensed the threat too. A red light flashed in its eyes. Stable barrier. A black shield gleaming with metallic luster formed instantly. However, the mystic Frost Ice Phoenix's ultimate skill did not simply start freezing from the outside, accompanied by the crisp sound of shattering ice crystals. Inside the shield, crystalline icicles suddenly condensed all over the trial puppet's body. And these ice crystals spread at an extremely fast speed across the surface of its body. Being attacked from within, the stable barrier released by the trial puppet instantly disintegrated. Gu-sing. Hurry. The Ice Phoenix's burst state can only last for 5 seconds. Liuli, do it now. I issued the command instantly. Understood. A streak of crimson light tore through space. Liuli, wielding her burning long sword, dashed forward like a shooting star. The edge of the sword pointed straight at the trial puppet's mechanical head. In the trial puppet's electronic eyes, a human-like panic surfaced for the first time. But the ice crystals had already completely confined it. It couldn't even move a single finger. It could only watch helplessly as that deadly red light closed in. Judgment. The sword blade collided with the alloy head, erupting with an ear-piercing metallic screech. With a loud bang, the webbing between Liuli's thumb and forefinger went numb from the shock. The countershock traveling up the blade made her heart skip a beat. Too hard. This was Liuli's only thought right now. Even at the peak state of her seraphim form, she felt as if she were cutting through diamond. Every inch of progress was incredibly difficult. Fortunately, although slow, the crimson flame longsword was still gradually sinking into the puppet's head. The scorching blade and the melting metal sparked dazzlingly. However, just as we all thought that this trial would end like this, the dying trial puppet's eyes suddenly burst with a piercing bloodlight. Pitch-black energy mist spewed out from its joint crevices, instantly corroding the ice crystals on the surface of its body. What is this? My pupils trembled violently. In my field of vision, the trial puppet's attribute panel was madly distorting and restructuring. This is demonic transformation. At this moment, all the mysteries were suddenly solved. Why the difficulty of the abyss-level trial was so abnormally high? It turned out the entire trial space had long been infiltrated by demonic aura. The entry standard was clearly awakening tier 5. But in the end, we had to face an enemy close to the transcendent tier. Under the influence of the demonic aura, the attributes of the trial puppets within the trial grounds had been slowly increasing. If these things weren't dead objects, their improvement would have been even more terrifying. At this moment, Liuli's blade emitted an ear-piercing grinding sound at the puppet's neck. The blade could hardly advance another inch. What was more fatal was the mystic Frost Ice Phoenix's extreme cold confinement was rapidly fading. The surface of the ice crystals was already covered in spiderweb-like cracks. Once this monster with attributes breaking past 400 points regained its freedom, this trial might truly lose any possibility of being cleared. Crack! The ice crystals on the trial puppet's head began to crack. Its head regained mobility. At this moment, its gaze slowly turned, locking directly onto me and Ying Bing. We immediately felt a bone-chilling cold. After being demonized, its intelligence had clearly further improved. No matter how formidable the two beasts were, as long as it dealt with us, the beast tamers, everything would be over. Crack! Accompanied by a crisp shattering sound, the ice crystals covering the puppet's entire body violently burst apart. Its mechanical arm grabbed the flying ice cone fragments with astonishing speed, and completed the entire process of aiming and charging for a throw in the blink of an eye. A sharp whistling sound of air being pierced resounded across the battlefield. The ice cone turned into a deadly cold light aiming straight for Ying Bing's throat. The mystic Frost Ice Phoenix let out a heart-wrenching cry, desperately trying to flap its wings to block it. But having just used its ultimate skill, it had trouble even standing. It could only watch helplessly as death approached its master. Ying Bing's mind went completely blank. The shadow of death enveloped her entire body. Liuli used divine protection. My angry roar exploded within the trial space. In an instant, a resplendent pillar of golden light enveloped Ying Bing completely like a divine shield descending from heaven. This was one of Liuli's 4 core skills, divine protection. An ultimate guard that could absolutely defend against one fatal attack. With a loud boom, the ice cone collided violently with the golden light curtain, erupting in a deafening roar. But ultimately couldn't break through this seemingly thin barrier. I turn my head, my gaze locking onto the trial puppet. Now facing this monster with stats as high as 400. There was no other choice but to release Liuli's ultimate skill. And Liuli at this moment seemed to feel my thoughts. She fiercely raised her golden eyes and said with immense determination, "Master, I can do it. I can definitely do it." Saying that, her golden pupils stared fixedly at the crack on the trial puppet's neck. Just a little stronger. If only I were a little stronger. The trial puppet's scarlet electronic eyes suddenly turned towards Liuli. Since it couldn't kill the beast tamer, then it would first destroy this most threatening angel. In a split second, its massive body closed in on Liuli as fast as lightning. Equilibrium force field fully activated. Its mechanical arms emitted ear-piercing energy explosive sounds. But this time the young girl didn't move an inch. Her silver hair danced wildly in the crimson energy storm. She poured all her power into the sword blade. This time I must. In an instant, a massive pillar of crimson flame shot into the sky. 4 wings of light suddenly unfurled to their limits. What was even more shocking was, behind her the outlines of 2 more illusory wings of light actually appeared. The phantom of a 6-winged angel faintly flickered in the sea of fire. Holy and majestic. After seeing Liuli's attributes clearly, my pupils shrank fiercely. Just like the mystic frost ice phoenix, she was in a special state. But Liuli clearly hadn't released an ultimate skill. Bing stumbled and stabilized her posture. Her pupils suddenly shrank to the size of pinpricks. This is the critical state. I whipped my head around and asked anxiously, what is the critical state? This state should originally be a domain only transcendent tiers could touch. Beasts in the awakening stage can forcefully enter it through special skills. It's just that there are strong side effects after releasing it. I frowned. Liuli isn't using an ultimate skill right now. Is there any other way for a beast to enter this state? There is one other possibility. When a beast's aptitude and battle intent reach extreme resonance, there is also a certain chance to enter this state. This state is incomparably rare and has almost 0 side effects. After learning there were no side effects, my suspended heart finally dropped. My gaze refocused on the center of the battlefield. At this moment the trial puppet's mechanical arm came to an abrupt halt 1 inch away from Liuli, firmly blocked by an energy shield as crimson as blood. The scarlet light in its eyes flickered violently. The demonic aura inside its body couldn't stop trembling. In its perception, the aura of this beast before it was already equal to, or even surpassed its own. Liuli's golden pupils reflected the puppet's terrified electronic eyes. The 6 wings of light fully unfurled behind her. Every feather flowed with liquid fire. At this moment only one thought was burning in her mind. Must win. Die for me. Accompanied by this angry shout that pierced the heavens and earth, the stalled longsword suddenly erupted with a piercing crimson glow. The moment the blade cut through the air, time seemed to freeze. The crimson sword glow fell like a meteor. The trial puppet's alloy body, in the face of absolute power, was torn apart easily like thin paper. The flames dancing on the sword blade melted the metal at the incision into crimson molten iron. With a loud boom, the trial puppet's massive mechanical body smashed heavily onto the ground, kicking up a sky full of dust. The instant its core extinguished, a sphere of pure blue energy light rose from the wreckage. And after accepting this blue orb of light, piercing golden light lit up on Liuli's body. Holy Angel Liuli. Aptitude, Legendary Yi Star. Level, Awakening Tier Liu. Strength, 175. Constitution, 177. Spirit, 173. Speed, 181. Skills, Judgment, Divine Protection, Seraphim Mode, Aria of Demise. And I also felt my own spiritual power instantly increase. Looking at the soaring stats on Liuli's panel, my fingertips trembled slightly. An ordinary awakening tier 8 beast's attributes, maxed out around 150. Yet Liuli's average attributes were approaching 180 points. Not to mention Liuli also possessed the even more abnormal Seraphim mode. Just then an ethereal and distant voice echoed in the trial space. Congratulations to everyone for passing the ancient trial. May the blessings of the elven race be with you. Brilliant green light intertwined in the air, condensing into 3 crystal clear rating crystals. Final evaluation. Gu Xing. SSS rank, historical highest. Ying Bing. S rank, excellent. Qin Tian. A rank, good. Immediately after, 3 pillars of light of different colors descended from the sky. I was enveloped by the dazzling golden pillar of light. A series of prompt sounds rang in my mind. Obtained. Beast Aptitude Enhancement Potion, Legendary. Obtained. Beast Space Condensation Core. Obtained. Elven Ancestral Land Key, 1. Can open the Secret Realm Passage. In Bing's Silver Pillar of Light floated a potion and a key. Obtained. Beast Aptitude Enhancement Potion, Epic. Obtained. Elven Ancestral Land Key, 1. In front of Qin Tian was a jade green light of healing. Obtained. Essence of the Spring of Life. Can completely heal a beast's injuries. I looked at the 3 items suspended in front of me. Beast Aptitude Enhancement Potion, Legendary. Effect. Increases the aptitude of a legendary aptitude beast by 2 stars. Seeing the effect of this potion, my breathing quickened slightly. Currently Liuli's average attributes were 180 points. A 2-star leap in aptitude might allow her attributes to break the 200 mark. Such a reward was indeed worthy of the difficulty of this trial. The Beast Space Condensation Core was a crystal-clear diamond-shaped crystal. Inside, starlight-like dots were flowing. Effect. Can help a beast tamer prematurely construct a complete beast space. After seeing its description clearly, I was startled inwardly. You must know only by reaching the transcendent realm. Would one condense a portable beast space? Yet passing through this core could actually enable a beast tamer to accomplish such a thing during the awakening stage. As for the final remaining key, I was somewhat puzzled. Because I couldn't view its information. I reached out slightly to touch it. The key suddenly turned into a stream of light and merged into my glabella. A massive amount of information emerged instantly. Elven Ancestral Land Burial Secret Realm. Entry requirement. Gather 3 keys. Remaining time. 49 days 23 hours 59 minutes. Note. If overdue it will be permanently sealed. After interpreting the information, I roughly understood the function of this key. This trial was equivalent to an assessment. Only geniuses who passed the assessment had the qualifications to enter the burial grounds of the elven race, to claim the legacy they left behind. Thinking of this, I looked up and happened to meeting Bing's gaze. She definitely knew this news too. It's just that entering the secret realm required 3 keys, and the whereabouts of the last one seemed unknown. But as long as the last person wanted to enter this secret realm, then within these 50 days, they would have to meet at the entrance of the secret realm. I reached out and took the Beast Aptitude Enhancement Potion, but found that Liuli's gaze was closely following the movement of this potion. My gaze shifted over. The little girl immediately pretended not to care and looked away. But the action of peeking with her eyes completely exposed the thoughts in her heart. Seeing my little angel like this, I decided to tease her. Liuli, what do you say we save this potion for my second contracted beast? Liuli's wings suddenly stiffened. She mechanically turned her neck, the corners of her mouth twitching to squeeze out a smile. Master is right. I casually tossed the potion over to her and stopped teasing her. Catch. This was what you deserved anyway. Liuli caught the potion bottle in a flurry, only then realizing she had been teased. However, when she looked down and stared at the potion, her fingers involuntarily tightened. She knew the value of this kind of legendary potion better than anyone. And at this time my gaze finally locked onto that crystal-clear beast space core. Once the beast space was successfully condensed, Liuli's growth would no longer be limited to hunting demonic creatures. She could stay in the beast space and improve herself anytime, anywhere. I activated the starlight flowing core in my hand without hesitation. In an instant, a surging spiritual power rushed through my sea of consciousness like a tide. At the same time, Liuli tilted her head back and drank that bottle of gold-gleaming aptitude enhancement potion. A dazzling golden cocoon of light instantly wrapped her completely. Powerful energy fluctuations rippled out within the circular hall. On the outskirts of the trial grounds, Wei Yuan stood with his hands behind his back at the very front of the defense line. The gap that was unsealed after clearing the second stage earlier. He had already assigned people to mount a strict defense. Now we were only one step away. As long as the 3 of us cleared the trial, then the entire defense line of Longxia Nation could be linked into one piece. At that time the leveling difficulty for novice beast tamers would plummet. Suddenly a crisp shattering sound broke the silence. Hearing this sound, Wei Yuan whipped his head around. This is the sound of the restriction breaking. This means they've cleared the trial. Wei Yuan let out an explosive shout. All personnel attention. The restriction is broken, prepare to meet the enemy. Hundreds of soldiers responded in unison, their voices like thunder. Roger. Crack. With the final crisp sound, the restriction completely crumbled. At the massive gap, countless demonic creatures let out ear-piercing roars and surged in like a tide. Wei Yuan gazed at the demonic tide, the aura of a monarch-tier beast tamer, suppressing the entire battlefield. These demonic creatures. If even one escapes, martial law will apply. A great battle was on the verge of breaking out. The demonic creatures were utterly fearless of death. But the soldiers led by Wei Yuan were equally the elites of Longxia Nation. In order to plug this gap, and allow the entire defense line of Longxia Nation to connect as a whole, this brutal war lasted for several days. Inside the trial grounds, unlike the raging fires of war on the front lines, it was incredibly quiet here. In my sea of consciousness, the outline of the beast space had completely solidified. Vast spiritual power surged like the tides, while the golden cocoon of light wrapping Liuli had cracks spreading across its surface like a spiderweb. A heart-palpitating aura seeped out from within. Liuli's aptitude enhancement was also nearing its end. On the other side, Qin Tian's injuries had long been healed under the nourishment of the spring of life. Ying Bing's mystic frost ice phoenix, under the catalysis of the epic tier aptitude enhancement potion, also successfully broke through to legendary 2-star, its strength skyrocketing. Sister Bing, how much longer do you think Brother Xing will take to wake up? It's been 9 days already. Qin Tian leaned over and asked. Ying Bing gave him a faint glance and didn't answer. She just lowered her head and gently stroked the mystic frost ice phoenix in her arms. Qin Tian rubbed his nose awkwardly. Just as he was about to turn and walk away, the air suddenly trembled. My surrounding spiritual power suddenly erupted, sweeping in all directions like a storm. Ying Bing felt this spiritual power. Her ice-blue pupils shrank slightly. This is transcendent tier spiritual power. Although my current level remained at awakening tier 6. But my spiritual power at this moment was already enough to rival a true transcendent tier beast tamer. And at this moment, within my sea of consciousness, the pure white beast space was completely formed under the construction of spiritual power. Now the only thing left was to completely fuse my own spiritual power with the beast space. Fuse. I didn't hesitate at all, and poured all my spiritual power into it. In an instant my consciousness seemed to cross some kind of boundary, entering an unprecedented, profoundly mysterious state. Even with my eyes closed and mind focused, I could clearly perceive everything around me. Right at this moment I snapped my eyes open, looking in the direction where Liuli was. The cracks on the golden cocoon suddenly expanded. Crimson flames spewed out from the fissures. In the next second the golden cocoon completely exploded. In the storm of blazing flames, holy wings unfurled with a boom. A holy figure stood suspended in the air. The 2-star aptitude enhancement allowed Liuli's attributes to break past the 200 mark. Ying Bing and Qin Tian were also shocked by Liuli's improvement. They felt that with the coercion Liuli was releasing right now, she even had the ability to one-shot their beasts. When Liuli adapted to her transformed body, she immediately locked onto me and trotted over. Master, I kept you waiting. I reached out and gently stroked the young girl's soft long hair, smiling. It's fine. Feeling the warmth coming from the top of her head, Liuli suddenly realized something. Then gracefully bowed to Ying Bing and Qin Tian. Sorry for keeping you two waiting as well. Ying Bing's cold voice sounded. It's fine. It was a trial for the three of us together anyway. Qin Tian hurriedly waved his hand. We should get going. It's been 9 days already. What? I had just taken a step, then abruptly turned and stared at Qin Tian. 9 days. Qin Tian was startled by my reaction. Brother Xing, is something wrong? Don't you guys have to participate in the school assessment? Qin Tian and Ying Bing looked at each other and confidently answered at the same time. We're exempt. I was completely speechless. People truly are different from one another. I still needed to work hard to take the college entrance examination. These two actually skipped this step directly. As the piercing white light flashed, our figures instantly appeared outside the trial grounds. The adjutant, who had been waiting for a long time, quickly stepped forward. You guys are finally out. A full 9 days with no activity. Commander Wei almost sent people in for a search and rescue. But at this moment I was more anxious. Could you please send someone to take me back to Linyuan City? I'm going to be late for the school assessment. The adjutant's face suddenly changed, then he immediately reacted. Rest assured, student. We'll depart immediately. Linyuan City Assessment Square. Today was the first round of assessments for the college entrance examination in Longxia Nation. Only by making it into the top 50 could one obtain the qualifications for the next round of assessment. Class rep. Why isn't God Gu here yet? Could he be missing the assessment? The person speaking was the classmate I had saved back then, during the novice trial. Chen Ruoxue was also somewhat anxious. Everyone don't worry. I believe Gu Xing will definitely arrive on time. Try to buy as much time as possible during the matches later. However, the matchup list on the large screen very quickly displayed my name anyway. Gu Xing vs Wang Wu. When this line of text appeared, Wang Wu standing on the arena stage turned instantly pale. Although rumors had been circulating in Linyuan City that my SSS rank evaluation was bought with money. A starved camel is still bigger than a horse. As an awakening tier 3 beast tamer, how could he possibly measure up? Student Gu Xing, please come to the stage. The referee's loud voice echoed across the square. Yet the other side of the arena remained completely empty. The referee frowned and checked the timer. Raising his voice. Is student Gu Xing present? If you are not present, it will be considered as forfeiting this match. Hold on. At this moment Chen Ziming walked over slowly, holding an alluring succubus. Referee. How about putting this match as the finale? After all, we are all very much looking forward to this SSS rank genius's performance. For the past 10 days he had practically lived in the alternate dimension, going all out to raise the succubus's level to awakening tier 8. All for the sake of trampling that brat who stole his spotlight today. But now the main character was actually absent. How could he possibly be willing to accept that? Fine sweat seeped from the referee's forehead. The rules state it clearly. Being late means disqualification. But he couldn't afford to offend the person in front of him either. I will explain the situation to Vice Principal Chen. Chen Ziming added casually, his fingertips ambiguously caressing the succubus's waist. Hearing Chen Ziming invoke the vice principal's name, the referee instantly breathed a sigh of relief. All right. Then this match will be delayed. The match between Gu Xing and Wang Wu will be placed last. And as the referee's voice sounded, the scene instantly erupted. During this period, under the deliberate rumor-mongering of the Chen family, basically everyone in Linyuan City had implicitly agreed that my SSS rank evaluation was obtained through cheating, coupled with the fact that I hadn't appeared since the novice trial. This made everyone accept that this was the truth of the matter. Next match, Chen Ziming vs Li Si. Following the referee's announcement, Chen Ziming slowly walked onto the stage holding the succubus. His opponent Li Si's face was deathly pale. Young Master Chen, please go easy on me. The succubus in Chen Ziming's arms gently licked her fangs with her scarlet tongue. Black armored turtle. Water current impact. Li Si forced himself to give the command. A column of water spewed out, but strangely stalled 3 feet away from the succubus, only to see the succubus lazily raise her slender hand. The water column crashed and dissipated as if hitting an invisible barrier. Immediately after, the purple light in her eyes surged wildly. A visible spiritual ripple swept out. The black armored turtle didn't even have time to let out a miserable shriek. It went limp and collapsed on the ground directly. Li Si was struck as if by lightning, blood spilling from his nose and mouth, fainting dead away. The sound of the entire audience gasping for cold air rose and fell. Chen Ziming's cold gaze swept back and forth through the crowd. But he couldn't find the figure he most wanted to see. The next match was Chen Ruoxue's turn to take the stage. This awakening tier 5 young woman deliberately didn't defeat her opponent, dragging it out on stage for a full 10 minutes. Chen Ziming narrowed his eyes, watching her actions of deliberately stalling for time. The corners of his mouth pulled into a dangerous curve. Next match. Gu Xing vs Wang Wu. The referee's voice caused the entire venue to fall silent. When I still did not appear. The smile on Chen Ziming's face grew colder and colder. Gu Xing. Alimi. However, before the referee could finish this sentence, a streak of golden light suddenly descended from the sky, smashing heavily onto the arena stage. The smoke cleared and my figure gradually became clear under the sunlight. Liuli's wings gently folded. Her porcelain white hands slowly released from my waist. This referee was stunned for several seconds, then recovered his wits and announced, "Contestant Gu Xing has arrived. The match begins." Wang Wu on the stage felt his legs go soft, his forehead covered in fine sweat. "Brother Gu, go easy on me." I smiled faintly. "Don't worry. It'll be over soon." Before Wang Wu could react, a white blur suddenly flashed before his eyes. His awakening tier 3 beast only had time to let out a scream, before planting heavily onto the ground, completely losing consciousness. "I surrender." Wang Wu unhesitatingly raised both hands, his face turning deathly pale instantly. Below the stage, Chen Ziming's eyes narrowed slightly. "Mayor, what level do you say the beast contracted by your former master is at now?" The succubus glanced at Liuli, and then spoke slowly. Brother Zimming. From that beast's performance just now it's at most awakening tier 6. The corners of Chen Zimming's mouth curled into a cold sneer. Awakening tier Liu. In front of his awakening tier 8 succubus, it was nothing but an ant. The ensuing matches progressed rapidly. 2 hours later I easily advanced to the top 4. Advancing alongside me were the aggressive Chen Zimming, the quite capable Shun Ruoxue, and an awakening tier 5 beast tamer Li Yan. The next morning the assessment square was surrounded by crowds of people tight as water. In the VIP seats the most powerful bigwigs of Linyuan City took their seats one by one. Chen Zimming's father, the president of the largest merchant guild in Linyuan City. At this moment he was speaking in low tones with the vice principal, with a meaningful smile on his face. I heard your son's succubus has already reached awakening tier 8. The vice principal asked tentatively. Chen Shan waved his hand in mock modesty. Just children playing around, it can't be taken seriously. On the contrary, that Gu Xing. An SSS rank evaluation is quite something to look forward to. He had long since sent people to investigate my background thoroughly. Even if that angel really recovered her strength. At the absolute most she was just epic tier. While the succubus his own son contracted. Not only belonged to the epic tier as well, but had also reached the realm of awakening tier 8. The vice principal noticed the atmosphere was off, and hastily smoothed things over. Brother Chen is being too modest. Let's just focus on watching the matches. At this moment the atmosphere at the scene was so heavy, it could practically be wrung out. First match of the semifinals. Gu Xing vs Li Yan. Following the referee's announcement, that awakening tier 5 beast tamer walked onto the arena with heavy steps. As a tier 5 beast tamer, Li Yan acutely sensed that those rumors might be wrong. This youth who got the SSS evaluation was probably not that simple. He took a deep breath and quickly issued a command. Rock Turtle. Use Rock Wall. I looked at Li Yan who was in full battle array, and a trace of admiration flashed in my eyes. Liuli. Stop at an appropriate point. Before the words had completely fallen, a flash of white shadow passed by. That rock turtle, which was fully defending, didn't even have time to react. Its heavy body crashed to the ground, completely losing consciousness. Li Yan stared blankly at his beast. After a long while he smiled bitterly and shook his head. Referee, I surrender. The entire audience was in an uproar. While offstage Chen Zimming's mouth hooked into a cold sneer. His succubus, as a mental-type beast, had already taken in everything clearly. The succubus whispered in his ear. Brother Zimming, it's confirmed. That angel's spiritual fluctuations are indeed awakening tier 6. Hearing this, a gleam of guaranteed victory flashed in Chen Zimming's eyes. Second match, Chen Zimming vs Shun Ruoxue. The referee's voice sounded at the right moment. Chen Zimming straightened his collar and walked towards the arena stage with unhurried steps. When passing by me, he deliberately cast a meaningful look. I frowned slightly, my gaze sweeping over the succubus beside him. Succubus. Aptitude, Epic R star. Level, Awakening Tier Ba. Attribute, Dark Type Mental Type. Strength, 110. Constitution, 108. Spirit, 184. Speed, 120. Skills. Lust Siphon. Eye of Charm. No wonder Chen Zimming was so confident. So he had nurtured the succubus to this degree. A bit interesting. Master. I will definitely teach that bastard a good lesson later. Liuli's eyes contained suppressed anger. Her silver wings flapping restlessly behind her. But that older sister probably isn't a match for the succubus. I followed her gaze to look at the arena. Shun Ruoxue was biting her lower lip tightly, standing there. Her long black hair fluttering in the wind. A level gap of at least 2 awakening tiers. Plus the suppression of epic tier aptitude. The outcome of this match was almost self-evident. The match begins. As the referee's voice fell, the succubus's figure instantly vanished from its spot. Slap. A crisp slap sound exploded across the arena. Shun Ruoxue stumbled backward a few steps. A bright red handprint immediately surfaced on her left cheek. A cruel smile curled up the corners of Chen Zimming's mouth. I'm really sorry, my hand slipped. He threw his hands open in a dramatic gesture. But a cold light flickered in his eyes. This damn woman dared to help Gu Xing stall for time. Since he couldn't get his hands on Gu Xing for the moment, he would just make an example out of her first. May continue. He casually gave the order, but his voice was thoroughly bone-chilling. The succubus's scarlet tongue slowly licked across her fingertips. with a sadistic thrill in her eyes. For the next 3 minutes the arena turned into Chen Ruoshue's purgatory. She curled up her body in pain. Every time she wanted to open her mouth to surrender, she was forcefully interrupted by the succubus's mental impact. The snow shadow wolf desperately tried to protect its master, but was frozen in place by a single look from the succubus, only able to let out helpless whimpers. Another cry of pain. Chen Ruoshue's right shoulder was slashed open with 3 bloody marks by the succubus's sharp claws. Blood dripped down her fair arm, blooming into dazzling red plum blossoms on the arena stage. The referee on the side was just about to step forward to stop it, but was nailed in place by Chen Ziming's sinister glare. Facing this young master of the Chen family, he ultimately lacked the courage to step forward and stop it. And I, seeing this scene from below the stage, frowned deeply. What was happening on the arena stage couldn't be counted as a match at all. It was more like a humiliation. Is it because of me? I raised my eyes and happened to meet Chen Ziming's smug gaze, instantly understanding. When Liuli saw this scene, golden flames had already started burning in her 2 eyes. Strands of divine golden coercion spilled out, while the corners of my mouth curled into a dangerous arc. Want to enrage me with this kind of method? Congratulations, you indeed succeeded. It's just, can you bear the consequences of doing this? At this moment, high up on the platform, Linyuan City, Lord Xiaoxiao finally couldn't help but speak up. Vice Principal Chen, this match has gone a bit too far, hasn't it? The smile on Chen Yan's face froze instantly. Then he stacked up an even more brilliant smile. City Lord Xia, your words are too severe. When young people spar, it's hard to hold back sometimes. A trace of smugness flashed in Chen Shan's eyes. Ziming, this child has always known his limits. Lord City Lord is overthinking it. Seeing the two of them singing the same tune, Xiaoxiao's eyes gradually darkened. There was absolutely no need for the match on the arena stage to continue. But looking at the attitudes of the two, they clearly wanted to indulge it. Chen Ziming continued to humiliate that girl on the arena stage. Seeing the Chen father and son indulging this so blatantly, Xiaoxiao coldly snorted. His gaze fixed on Chen Ziming grew colder and colder. On the arena stage, Chen Ziming seemed to feel tired. He waved his hand with waning interest. The succubus immediately stopped her attacking movements. At this moment, that alluring figure was trembling slightly. An unnatural flush appeared on her pale cheeks. As a contracted beast, she was originally not allowed to attack humans. But Chen Ziming's command allowed her to break through this taboo. She felt as if some kind of craving deep within her heart was suddenly unleashed. Looking at Chen Ruoshue's completely defenseless appearance, an unprecedented thrill surged through her body. Chen Ziming walked up to Chen Ruoshue unhurriedly. Tell me, you were willing to stall for time for Gu Xing earlier. What exactly is your relationship with him? Chen Ruoshue raised her head with difficulty, those stubborn eyes revealing undisguised mockery. Bah! Why should I tell you? The smile on Chen Ziming's face suddenly deepened, but it made people shudder with cold. It doesn't matter. The relationship between you two isn't very important to me. As long as you answer one question, I'll let you surrender with dignity. Who do you think is stronger, me or Gu Xing? Think carefully before you answer. When saying the last few words, Chen Ziming deliberately emphasized his tone. However, Chen Ruoshue suddenly laughed, not hiding the irony in her eyes at all. Chen Ziming, you're truly pathetic. With just this much promise, you are far worse compared to Gu Xing. These few words instantly pierced through Chen Ziming's disguise like a sharp blade. He abruptly stood up straight and snapped his fingers at the succubus. Very good. A sickly excitement flickered in the succubus's eyes. Crack! The crisp sound of bone fracturing resounded across the entire venue. Intense pain made Chen Ruoshue's entire body tremble violently. She finally couldn't bear it and collapsed paralyzed on the arena stage. The snow shadow wolf struggled madly, its snow-white fur seeping with mottled bloodstains. But under the terrifying mental coercion of the succubus, it was forcefully pressed flat onto the arena stage, its 4 limbs twitching violently. You should be glad this is on the arena stage. Chen Ziming turned around unhurriedly, and then casually dropped a command. Succubus! Kill that wolf. Hearing this voice, even Chen Ruoshue, who was trembling from severe pain, stiffened. Chen Ziming! Please! Please don't! However, Chen Ziming's footsteps didn't pause for a moment, revealing a sinister and venomous smile. Too late. The succubus licked the corners of her mouth, and in the next moment appeared right in front of the snow shadow wolf. Her slender fingertips like sharp blades pierced into the snow shadow wolf's glabella, bringing out a splash of scarlet blood. The beast contract suddenly severed plus the shock of the beast's death. Chen Ruoxue violently spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted dead away on the arena stage. The entire audience was in an uproar. Amidst the noisy discussions, Chen Ziming slowly turned around, his gaze passing through the crowd to look at me. Going against me. Are you worthy? Facing Chen Ziming's provocation. At this moment I was incredibly calm. But the chill exuding from my entire body almost froze the air. Liuli. Go all out when taking the stage in a moment. Liuli nodded heavily. The golden flames in her eyes almost materialized. Yes. Master. The match is over. Chen Ziming wins. The referee's voice carried a bit of urgency. Before his words had completely fallen, he hurriedly waved to signal the medical team to enter. After hastily announcing the match result, he quickly left the scene. The incident of Chen Ruoxue's beast being killed in public had already sparked strong dissatisfaction among the students. He had to report and handle this matter immediately. While on the viewing platform, Chen Yan was laying on the compliments to Chen Shan. Brother Chen. This child Ziming has made rapid progress. At this rate, breaking through to Transcendent is just around the corner. Chen Shan waved his hand in mock modesty. He's still far from it. He's only awakening Tier 8. Xia Xiao watched the performance of these Chen brothers coldly from the sidelines, and finally couldn't help but speak up. Vice Principal Chen. Deliberately killing an opponent's beast during an assessment. By precedent he should be disqualified from the competition, right? Hearing this sentence from Xia Xiao, Chen Yan immediately put on a troubled expression. Clearly he didn't want to handle it according to the rules. Chen Shan hastily took over the conversation. My son slipped up for a moment and made a huge mistake, which led to such a consequence. But City Lord Xia, please rest assured. We will definitely fully compensate that student for her loss. Xia Xiao's eyes grew gradually colder. What a good accident. Such naked brutality actually became an understatement of slipping up from the mouths of these two. Were they treating him, the city lord, as a fool? Or were they treating the public of the entire Linyuan city as fools? At this time the referee hurried over. Lord City Lord. President Chen. Vice Principal. Many students have raised objections regarding the previous match. Chen Yan and Chen Shan exchanged a meaningful look and spoke slowly. Indeed. There were loopholes in the previous assessment rules which led to such an accident. 2 new rules will be added for the next match. First, beasts are prohibited from attacking beast tamers. Second, if a situation arises that may lead to the death of a beast, the referee has the right to intervene. The referee opened his mouth. The words reached his lips, but he swallowed them back. What the students were protesting wasn't the rules at all, but Chen Ziming's naked act of sadistic killing. But looking at Chen Yan's sinister glare, he ultimately could only bow. I will go announce this right away. When this evasive new rule was broadcast over the speakers, the audience immediately erupted in boos. I slowly raised my eyelids, sweeping over the residual bloodstains on the arena stage. It won't end like this. Chen Ziming will pay the price. As the last grain of sand fell from the timing hourglass, the referee stepped back onto the arena stage. The finals of this assessment begin now. Gu Xing versus Chen Ziming. My gaze scrutinized the succubus in Chen Ziming's arms. Everything started with this succubus. Then it should also end with this succubus. Chen Ziming deliberately hugged the succubus tighter and said frivolously, staring at someone else's beast isn't a very polite behavior. Although this succubus was summoned by you, she carries the surname Chen now. I said slowly, this kind of beast is a perfect match for a beast tamer like you. Chen Ziming suppressed his anger and sneered. Gu Xing. On the arena stage, strength does the talking. Just relying on lip service is of no use. The referee stood in the center of the arena and interrupted our conversation at the right moment. Are both sides ready? At this time Chen Ziming suddenly raised his hand to signal. Gu Xing. Don't you want to snatch back the stolen succubus? Why don't we add a wager to this match? How about the loser dissolving the contract with their beast? This matter was something Chen Shan specifically instructed him to do before going on stage. The aptitude of this angel is at worst epic tier. His level is about to reach the transcendent tier soon. And he happens to be lacking one beast. Facing Chen Ziming's performance, I couldn't help but laugh. A beast that was originally a partner actually became a gambling stake. I was just planning to refuse, when a crisp voice resounded across the arena. All right. We accept. Only to see Liuli with a completely serious face right now. Majestic golden flames dancing in her golden eyes. Master, please trust me. I will absolutely not disappoint you. Besides, that traitor should naturally be judged by you. Feeling Liuli's determination, I looked directly at Chen Ziming and said flatly, I accept this wager. A smile of guaranteed victory surfaced on Chen Ziming's face. He couldn't wait to snap his fingers. A female secretary in professional attire immediately walked onto the arena, holding a gold-stamped document. Chen Ziming's eyes looking at Liuli were full of greed. Once this is signed, no one can go back on their word. He had already tried the succubus. So what would the taste of this angel be like? I'm really looking forward to it. While the corners of my mouth hooked into a sneer. With a wave of my hand I signed my name. In the VIP seats, Xia Xiao played with the newly obtained contract. His gaze circling over the triumphant Chen Shan. This idiot probably still doesn't know. Gu Xing is a genius personally highly regarded by Wei Yuan. Moreover, 10 minutes ago he received a message. Wei Yuan is already not far from Linyuan City. And the purpose of his visit to Linyuan City this time seems to also be related to Gu Xing. Soon the match began. Chen Ziming's presumptuous laughter echoed across the arena stage. Gu Xing, you actually dared to sign this gambling agreement. Should I say you are confident or stupid? Before the words had completely fallen, a cold and sinister aura abruptly erupted. Dark purple energy ripples twined around the succubus. The coercion of awakening Tier 8 swept the entire venue like something tangible. Chen Ziming whistled frivolously. If you obediently surrender now, and offer up your beast, you can still prevent my cute little angel from getting hurt. After all, such a beautiful angel. If she gets scars on her face, it wouldn't look good. My eyes turned thoroughly cold. Liuli, I'll leave the succubus to you. Make her properly understand how to be a beast. Chen Ziming had just opened his mouth to mock. But his pupils suddenly shrank. With a bang, only a blur was seen flashing past. A heavy punch from Liuli had already smashed fiercely into the succubus's abdomen. The awakening Tier 8 succubus actually fell to her knees like a ragdoll. Scarlet blood spilling from the corners of her mouth. Her pupils trembling violently. Impossible. As a mental-type beast, she actually couldn't capture Liuli's movement trajectory at all. Immediately following, the second strike arrived closely behind. Liuli's fair jade hand suddenly pressed onto the succubus's head. Holy golden energy spilling out madly. In an instant, the succubus's head was deeply embedded into the arena stage. Spiderweb-like cracks spreading in all directions. With Liuli's strength attribute of over 200 points, if she hadn't deliberately pulled her punch, this strike would have been enough to kill the succubus on the spot. The entire venue fell dead silent. Chen Ziming watched this scene dumbstruck. The expression on his face shifting from smugness to twisted anger. Trash. Get up for me. The succubus pulled her head out trembling, only to be met with her master's ferocious face. Chen Ziming roared hysterically. Trash. Use your skills on me. However, the succubus was trembling violently all over. She could no longer hear clearly what Chen Ziming was saying. Having suffered 2 heavy blows from Liuli, she was no different from being completely crippled already. Can't you hear me? Chen Ziming kicked the succubus hard in the waist, but only received a weak groan in return. While I stepped forward slowly, my voice icy. Chen Ziming, your proud Tier 8 beast seems to be a piece of trash. Chen Ziming whipped his head around, his bloodshot eyes full of madness. What the hell did you say? I revealed a trace of mockery. You idiot don't seem to have seen the situation clearly yet. Bang! A heavy punch smashed fiercely into his face. 2 bloody teeth sent flying. Chen Ziming stumbled backward, touching his caved-in cheek in disbelief. This pampered young master tasted blood for the first time, while the second punch quickly followed. Chen Ziming was beaten until he slumped to the ground. He turned to the succubus like a madman and roared hoarsely. Kill them for me. Under the compulsion of the contract, the succubus barely managed to raise her hand, wanting to launch an attack. But Liuli's speed was clearly faster. The silver angel pressed the succubus's head down with one hand, and ruthlessly smashed it into the arena stage once again. Amidst flying rubble, the succubus's scream was forcefully pressed back down her throat. Golden flames of anger danced in Liuli's eyes, her silver wings fully unfurled, the red-gold fire of judgment slowly forming between her fingers. No. Please. The succubus's pupils shrank violently. She could feel that this was holy fire that could directly burn the soul. Under the terrified gaze of the succubus, the red gold flames slowly descended. In an instant the succubus's heart-wrenching screams echoed in the sky above the square. This kind of fire that acts directly on the soul brings pain that is thousands and tens of thousands of times worse than physical pain. Everyone in the audience held their breath. The awakening Tier 8 Chen Ziming just lost like this. Serves him right. People like Chen Ziming should be taught a harsh lesson. On the arena stage my fists rained down on Chen Ziming. When the 10th punch landed he trembled and wanted to surrender. However, before his voice could even come out, my palm pinched his jaw in a death grip. I remember Shen Ruoxue also wanted to surrender back then. Now it's your turn. Wanting to surrender isn't that simple. The pain you inflicted on Shen Ruoxue, I definitely have to return to you several times over. This sentence was like a pronouncement of death, making Chen Ziming tremble violently all over and struggle desperately. No. The rules say you can't. I sneered and the force in my hand increased a bit more. There is indeed a rule that beasts cannot attack beast tamers. So aren't I doing it personally myself? Crack. The teeth-achingly crisp sound of bone fracturing clearly spread throughout the entire venue. Blood mixed with saliva spilled from Chen Ziming's deformed mouth. On the high platform, Chen Shan shattered his chair's armrest with a single slap, and stood up with bloodshot eyes. However, Xia Xiu's voice was like a basin of ice water poured over his head. President Chen, are you trying to ruin this gambling agreement? Chen Shan's raised right hand froze in midair. He clearly felt an extremely powerful aura lock onto him. As long as he dared to summon his beast, in the next second blood would splatter on the spot. Xia Xiu tapped his fingertips lightly. President Chen, you were the ones begging the city lord's mansion to notarize the gambling agreement. Are you trying to go back on your word now? When saying this, Xia Xiu's coercion as a commander-tier beast tamer permeated outward. Chen Yen braced himself and stood up. City Lord Xia, this is an official assessment after all. For you to interfere like this. Interfere. This city lord is upholding the fairness of the gambling agreement. Do you think what I'm doing is problematic? After Xia Xiu said this sentence, the entire viewing platform suddenly fell so quiet you could hear a pin drop. During Shen Ruoxue's match earlier, as the city lord he wanted to intervene, but had no excuse. But now these two idiots actually handed the reason right into his hands personally. What's more, I am a genius personally taken away by Wei Yuan. Even if there wasn't this gambling agreement today, Xia Xiu would protect me to the end. Under Xia Xiu's icy stare, Chen Yen felt like there were thorns on his back. City Lord Xia, Ziming's state clearly indicates he has lost. There is no need for this assessment to continue, right? Xia Xiu, having grasped the initiative, spoke unhurriedly. Hasn't he not surrendered yet? Since he hasn't surrendered, that means the match must continue. Of course. If you have any objections, go talk to my beast. Before his words completely fell, a flash of yellow light passed. The 3-meter-tall earth-splitting bear landed on the viewing platform with a crash, shaking the ground slightly. The mouth Chen Yen had just opened tightly shut immediately, fine beads of sweat seeping from his temples. While Chen Shan still wanted to make a final attempt. City Lord Xia. Enough. Xia Xiu suddenly gave an explosive shout. I'm putting my words out there today. As long as Gu Xing is within the reasonable bounds of the rules, even if he pierces the sky, I will bear the consequences. An awakening tier 6 being able to render the awakening tier 8 Chen Ziming completely unable to fight back. So what if I protect a genius like this? If you want to interfere, defeat me first. Feeling Xia Xiu's resolute attitude, Chen Yen tugged at Chen Shan's sleeve. The two could only smash their teeth and swallow them into their stomachs. Xia Xiu swept a cold glance over them before retracting his coercion. Since there are no objections, sit down and watch this match properly. While on the arena stage at this moment, under the burning of the holy flames, the succubus's originally alluring body also became ugly. She struggled to crawl to my feet. Master. Mayor knows she was wrong. I beg you to spare Mayor. I lowered my eyes, my icy gaze landing on the succubus's face, whose skin was burned open and flesh torn. Those eyes that were once full of calculation now only had humble begging for pity left. Liuli. She still has the strength to speak. It seems it wasn't enough. Hearing this, Liuli crossed her hands. The red gold flames suddenly surged, wrapping the succubus entirely into a humanoid pillar of fire. In extreme agony, the succubus finally couldn't hold on and completely fainted dead away. I looked down at the unconscious succubus. According to the gambling agreement, Chen Ziming had already lost. The right to dispose of this succubus naturally fell into my hands. However, taking a beast that had once betrayed me back under my command, I didn't have such sick tastes. But Shen Ruoxue lost her own beast because of me. And now was an opportunity to make amends. Although this succubus harbored wicked intentions, as long as Shen Ruoxue signed a slave contract with her, it would ensure this succubus wouldn't dare have any impure thoughts. After deciding the succubus's destination, my gaze fell back onto Chen Ziming. At this moment he was still kneeling and prostrating on the ground, begging hoarsely, "Brother Gu, I beg you to be merciful." I walked forward slowly, my boots making dull thuds as they stepped on the arena stage. "It's time to end this, Chen Ziming. The debt between you and me is cleared. Next is the debt you owe Shen Ruoxue." Chen Ziming violently raised his head, horror flashing in his eyes. "You broke one of her legs, so I'll break all 4 of your limbs." "Very fair, right?" Before the words had completely fallen, 4 crisp sounds of bone fracturing rang out one after another. Intense pain hit like a tidal wave. Chen Ziming didn't even have time to scream. His eyes rolled back and he fainted dead away. His 4 limbs were twisted at bizarre angles, like a dismantled marionette. At the edge of the arena stage, the referee suddenly stumbled. The terrifying aura locking his entire body had finally dissipated. He looked at the high platform in lingering fear. Xia Xiao, who was resting with his eyes closed, immediately announced loudly, "In this match, Gu Xing wins." In the VIP seats, Chen Shan's eyes were bloodshot, monstrous anger tumbling in his chest. His own son was crippled in public, yet he couldn't even move a single finger. It was truly bullying people too far. Seeing the victor had been decided, Xia Xiao then spoke unhurriedly. "Vice Principal Chen, it's time to announce that Gu Xing is the champion of this year's assessment, right?" However, Chen Shan suddenly turned his head, his bloodshot eyes written full of madness. "City Lord Xia, do you think you can guarantee his passing just like this?" Xia Xiao's eye color turned abruptly cold. A dignified city lord like him actually had his authority repeatedly provoked by Chen Shan. Even with his self-restraint, anger ignited in his heart at this moment. However, Chen Shan had already completely lost his reason. Only a crazy obsession remained in his eyes. Gu Xing has absolutely no right to participate. He was late for more than half an hour. According to the rules, he should be disqualified. These are the regulations of Longxia. Even if you are the city lord, you can't change the fact that Gu Xing has been eliminated. Xia Xiao's eyebrows furrowed slightly. He indeed overlooked this point. Upon arriving and seeing me already on the arena stage, he didn't delve into the issue of eligibility. Chen Yan also reacted and immediately added a stab. "City Lord Xia, rules are rules. Even an SSS rank genius cannot be above the rules." Xia Xiao fell into a dilemma. This was originally a matter that could be big or small. The school officials turning a blind eye would have let it pass. But right now Chen Shan was biting onto the Longxia regulations like a bulldog, elevating the simple issue of being late to the level of national law. Even though he was the city lord of Linyuan City, he couldn't possibly possess special privileges. In the center of the arena stage, I furrowed my brows slightly and looked up toward the high platform, meeting Chen Shan's twisted smiling face right on. However, the corners of my mouth hooked into a sneer. So what even if I'm really disqualified? With Liuli's strength, special recruitment channels, military recommendations, there are plenty of paths to step into an institution of higher learning. On the high platform, Chen Yan was slowly standing up, speaking with a triumphant smile. "After our discussion, candidate Gu Xing is disqualified from the competition due to severe lateness." However, before the last word even landed, an ear-piercing sound of something breaking through the air suddenly came from the horizon, only to see a giant bird with a wingspan of over 30 meters tearing through the clouds, its sky-blotting shadow instantly enveloping the entire square. A thunderous, angry shout exploded from high above. "What immense audacity! I want to see who dares to cancel the college entrance examination qualifications of a first-class Medal of Honor recipient." Before the words completely fell, Wei Yuan's figure had already appeared before everyone like a phantom. The coercion of a monarch-tier powerhouse instantly enveloped the air in the entire square, solidifying because of it. Seeing the person arriving, Chen Yan's pupils shrank abruptly, fine beads of sweat seeping from his forehead. This was the supreme commander of the southern military region. He could afford to not give Xia Xiao face, but he absolutely wouldn't dare act rashly in front of Wei Yuan. Chen Yan hurriedly stepped forward, bending his waist almost in half. "My lord, why have you personally Wei Yuan gave him a faint glance and walked straight towards Xia Xiao. Speak. What's going on? At this moment Xia Xiao was digesting the information in Wei Yuan's sentence just now. First-class Medal of Honor. This was something only someone who had made a massive contribution to Longxia Nation could obtain. But Gu Xing, how old is he? Suppressing the shock in his heart, he recounted the details of what had just happened at the scene. And with every sentence he spoke, Wei Yuan's face grew a degree darker. Snatching a beast. Shielding cheating. Thunder was already brewing in his eyes. When he heard that the Chen father and son actually wanted to cancel Gu Xing's qualifications, a terrifying murderous intent suddenly erupted from Wei Yuan's entire body. Not long ago he had just learned from Ing Bing that clearing the entire Abyss trial relied almost entirely on my strength alone. Because of this he hurriedly finished handling military affairs and rushed over, just to personally commend this young hero. But now the hero was being humiliated. You want to cancel Gu Xing's college entrance examination qualifications? Every word of Wei Yuan's voice carried bone-chilling murderous intent. Thud. Chen Yan's knees smashed heavily onto the ground. Calm. Commander Wei. We truly didn't know student Gu Xing is a first-class medal recipient. This was just acting according to the regulations. But noticing Wei Yuan's expression was wrong, he hurriedly changed his tune. Since the situation is special naturally, it should be handled specially. Student Gu Xing's assessment qualifications are restored immediately. However, Chen Shan was still unwilling to give up and braced himself to speak. Commander Wei. Even a first-class medal recipient should follow the rules. Hearing this sentence, Chen Yan immediately turned his gaze away in terror. This idiot Chen Shan seemed to have forgotten. Some people don't need to follow the rules. They themselves are the makers of the rules. Sure enough, a sudden sweeping kick exploded like thunder. What kind of thing are you? To be worthy of discussing rules with me? Chen Shan's entire body flew sideways like a broken gunny sack, smashing heavily into the center of the arena stage and fainting dead away. Wei Yuan's gaze turned back to Chen Yan. You know what to do, right? Commander Wei. I understand. Chen Yan's voice trembled as he forced himself to stand up, announcing, the champion of this year's assessment is Gu Xing. The entire venue instantly plunged into bizarre silence, which was followed by deafening cheers erupting. Wei Yuan cast a glance at him, his voice drifting over slowly. A person like you is not fit to teach and educate people. Go submit your resignation to the military department yourself, and report to the Vanguard squad tomorrow. This sentence struck the top of Chen Yan's head like a bolt of thunder. The Vanguard squad was also known as the cannon fodder camp, specifically taking in felons and derelict military officers. The mortality rate was as high as 70%. Yet he didn't even dare say the word no. Thank you, Commander Wei, for your mercy. I will go report tomorrow. Following that, Wei Yuan arrived on the arena stage, a smile instantly surfacing on his face. Student Gu Xing. You really helped Longxia solve a major hidden danger. You kid left in too much of a hurry, and forgot to take some things with you. I brought them over for you. I hurriedly reached out to catch it. Seeing this palm-sized crystal of light, only then did I react. The purpose of me participating in the trial was exactly for this. Thank you, Commander Wei. I thanked him sincerely. Why are you being so polite with me? Wei Yuan laughed heartily, then suddenly changed the topic. Right. Are you interested in developing your career in our military region after graduation? One of his purposes for coming to Linyuan City this time was to thank me for the contribution I made. As for the other one, it was to pull this genius into the southern military region in advance. Hearing this, I was taken aback. I haven't even enrolled in university yet. And this commander is actually starting to reserve things for 4 years later. Commander Wei. My college entrance examination isn't even over yet. Isn't it too early to talk about this now? What's too early about it? With your strength, taking the top spot in the college entrance examination is a sure thing. Young people should make plans early. The corners of my mouth twitched slightly. 4 years is a long time with too many variables. Who can say for sure what will happen in the future? I'm truly sorry, Commander Wei. I really don't have plans in this regard right now. Seeing my resolute attitude, Wei Yuan had no choice but to settle for the next best thing. Then how about this? If you consider joining the military in the future, you must give priority to our southern military region. Definitely. I smiled and agreed. Wei Yuan also revealed a satisfied smile. He originally didn't think he would succeed either. The result right now was already very good. Next he raised his hand and pointed at the paralyzed Chen father and son, who looked like dead dogs. Then how do you want to handle them? The Chen father and son who used to be high and mighty on the arena stage were now in a sorry state. Chen Shan's usually majestic and cold face was ashen at this moment. And Chen Ziming even had blood on the corners of his mouth and twisted limbs, long having lost his usual arrogant and domineering appearance. I looked at them coldly without the slightest ripple in my heart. Them ending up like this today was completely self-inflicted. Commander Wei. Handle them according to the law. Wei Yuan pondered slightly upon hearing this, his gaze sweeping over the unconscious Chen father and son. Chen Shan will be incorporated into the vanguard squad. As for this animal, when mentioning Chen Ziming, he deliberately slowed down his speaking speed. Deliberately harming a classmate. Sadistically killing a beast. Throw him into the Linyuan city dungeon. Life imprisonment. With Wei Yuan's verdict falling, the fate of the Chen father and son was settled like the dust falling. Wei Yuan looked around confirming that all matters had been properly handled. With military duties on my shoulders, I will take my leave first. Remember to definitely give priority to the southern military region after graduation. Definitely. I nodded solemnly, respectfully sending off Commander Wei. Seeing this, Wei Yuan finally turned and left satisfied. After taking 2 steps, it was as if he remembered something important. Oh right. Considering that you and Ing Bing are about to head to the Elven Secret Realm, you can choose not to participate in the military's second phase assessment. Your score doesn't need to be assessed. It will be the first place for this assessment. Wei Yuan's decision made my eyes light up. Earlier I was still hesitating on how to resolve the time conflict between the result of the second assessment and the Elven Secret Realm. As a result, this commander solved it with a single sentence. After arranging everything, Wei Yuan left Linyuan City, leaving behind only 2 precious gifts. These are truly good items. Xia Xiao had arrived beside me at some unknown point, staring hotly at that medal full of envy. The first-class Medal of Honor can not only mobilize the city defense forces, but at critical moments one can also request a special task force. Don't underestimate the weight of this badge. With Xia Xiao's reminder, I finally realized the preciousness of the item in my hand, and hurriedly put it away solemnly. Xia Xiao continued speaking. Right. I have already sent the best healer over for that injured girl. I estimate it won't be long before she can recover. Thank you, Lord City Lord. After I thanked him solemnly, my gaze turned towards the succubus. City Lord Xia. I want Shin Ruoxue to sign a slave contract with this succubus. Xia Xiao's eyebrows arched slightly, then he nodded understandingly. Indeed. This kind of beast that bites its master should be bound by the strictest contract. I agree. After familiarizing himself with me, Xia Xiao also turned and left the arena stage, leaving the scene to me. Immediately following, deafening cheers suddenly erupted all around the arena stage. The waves of sound hit one after another like a tide. Amidst the cheers, the succubus faintly woke up, her dark purple pupils reflecting my figure. And beside me, a silver-haired young girl tightly grasped my palm, the two looking incredibly compatible. Her heart suddenly clenched. An unprecedented wave of regret surged into her heart like a tide. If she hadn't betrayed back then, if she could have adhered to the contract, would it be her standing in that position right now? At this moment, just as I reached the door of the medical room, I heard the comforting voices of Shin Ruoxue's team members coming from inside. Captain, God Gu avenged you. Chen Ziming had his limbs broken on the arena stage. Commander Wei personally stepped forward. The Chen family is completely finished. While an ominous premonition suddenly surged in the succubus's heart. Master. Why did you bring me here? You have no right to call him master. Hearing the succubus's words, Liuli was immediately displeased. A cluster of golden flames slowly appeared on her palm. Seeing the flames, the succubus instantly trembled all over. That pain of having her soul burned. She never wanted to experience it again. She hastily lowered her head and admitted her mistake. I'm sorry. Only then did Liuli put away the flames, satisfied, and gave a proud, delicate snort. Even if her master wanted to contract a beast, it must pass her approval. I looked at Liuli helplessly. My beast is good in every way. She just gets jealous easily. Then I took a step and walked into the room. Shin Ruoxue's originally dull gaze gradually gained spirit after seeing the person arriving clearly. Even a noticeable flush dyed her cheeks. A clever female team member reacted first. Everyone get out, get out. Don't get in the way here. God Gu. We leave our captain to you. As the door closed, the room instantly fell quiet. Chen Ruoxue was so nervous her voice trembled. Guxing, why are you here? I calmly picked up an apple and started peeling it casually. Your injury was caused because of me. Isn't it proper for me to come visit? Besides coming to see you this time, there is another matter. After saying this sentence, my gaze fell onto the succubus. At this moment, the ominous premonition in the succubus's heart grew stronger and stronger. My voice abruptly became sharp. Apologize. And the succubus, startled by the sudden voice, immediately knelt to the ground. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She repeated words of apology. But there was not a trace of sincerity in her eyes. Seeing this, I shook my head. The final trace of hesitation in my eyes dissipated completely. Sure enough, one's true nature is hard to change. While Chen Ruoxue, seeing this, quickly reacted. Guxing, you don't have to do this. It was because of Chen Ziming's command that she acted that way back then. However, I didn't listen. This matter involves her. She must apologize. Call her master. My sudden command made the medical room instantly freeze. Chen Ruoxue looked at me in disbelief, suspecting she had auditory hallucinations. Your beast was killed by Chen Ziming because of me. Now I'm returning one to you. While the succubus kneeling on the ground felt freezing cold all over right now. She could accept defeat or even death. But the only thing she couldn't accept was being given away to a mediocre human. The succubus abruptly stood up, her dark purple eyes turning red. I don't want to follow her. Guxing, even if I betrayed you once, you shouldn't humiliate me like this. I am indeed not as good as this angel. But I'm also a genuine epic tier beast. Looking at the broken down succubus, I sneered. Is epic tier very strong? As for you saying you don't want to, do you have room to choose? Before the words completely fell, Liuli beside me reached out and firmly suppressed the succubus in place. I slowly raised my hand. A pentagram array glowing with blood-red light surfaced in the void. This is a slave contract. The succubus's voice became distorted from fear. She struggled madly. Dark purple magic power rioting around her body. But she completely couldn't break free from Liuli's control. However, my movements didn't pause for a moment. Under the succubus's despairing gaze, the blood-red runes still mercilessly sank into her glabella. Watching the contract smoothly complete, I breathed a sigh of relief. However, because Chen Ruoxue only had awakening tier 5 strength, the originally awakening tier 8 succubus's level also dropped accordingly. But as long as Chen Ruoxue's level increased, the succubus's strength would also quickly rise back up. Chen Ruoxue finally woke up as if from a dream, staring at her palm in disbelief. An epic tier beast just became her contracted beast like this. And it was even under a slave contract of absolute obedience. The succubus knelt on the ground, her face written full of unwillingness, but unable to resist due to the contract's binding. Her dark purple eyes flickered with tears of humiliation. But she didn't even dare say a single word of complaint. All right. The matter is done. I clapped my hands and stood up. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Looking at the back of me, turning to leave, Chen Ruoxue subconsciously reached out, wanting to make me stay, but ultimately didn't say anything, only letting her arm drop weakly. Just as I stepped out of the medical room, I suddenly felt a chill behind me, only to see a cold light flash in Liuli's long narrow golden eyes. Master, are that older sister's hands soft? Even I haven't eaten an apple peeled by you. Eventually, under my repeated assurances, Liuli finally returned to normal. 2 days later, the day of the second assessment, I had just brought Liuli to the assembly square, when I saw an unexpected person. Bing, dressed in white like snow, walked over slowly, followed by a sprightly old man at her side. Why are you here? I smiled and took the initiative to greet her. Bing pursed her lips, hesitated for a long while before speaking. Secret realm. Her voice was very soft. I didn't notice the young girl's anomaly either. But Xinghe, standing at the side, narrowed his eyes. Miss insisted on coming to this Linyuan city. Could it be just for this kid? But on second thought, his duty was merely to protect Bing's safety. As for Bing's emotional issues, it's better to let the patriarch worry about it. There are still more than 40 days until the secret realm is sealed. I plan to participate in the military assessment first, and raise my strength to awakening tier 9 before entering. I'll participate too. Bing blurted out almost instantly. I was momentarily speechless, opening my mouth wanting to say something, but looking at Bing's expression that made it seem perfectly natural, I ultimately just sighed helplessly. The area for the second assessment was set up in an alternate dimension by the military. Its purpose was to allow novice beast tamers to get used to the cruelty of the battlefield at the fastest speed. Although the military had already conducted a preliminary clearing of the demonic creatures within the area. But there were still quite a few students who lost their lives here every year. Gu Qianqian stared at the venue before her, slightly lost in thought. As a genius student of the Xinguo Academy, she didn't originally have to participate in the invigilation work for this kind of basic assessment. But at the thought of her younger brother Gu Xing, she still voluntarily applied to be an assessor. Qianqian. Still worrying about your brother. Tang Xinrou's voice pulled her back to reality. With an excellent sister like you, how bad could your brother be? Besides, isn't there still me? I've already greeted the junior brothers and sisters, telling them to pay special attention to Gu Xing's safety. You can put your mind at ease 100 times over. Gu Qianqian looked at her best friend's concerned expression and nodded gently. Thank you, Xinrou. Seeing her best friend's mood improve, Tang Xinrou finally felt relieved. Actually, I not only asked them to protect your brother, I also specially instructed them. Even if his performance is slightly lacking just a little bit, they should give him a high score as they see fit. Gu Qianqian smiled upon hearing this. Xinrou, there really is no need to do this. I believe he can get into the Xinguo Academy, relying on his own strength. Tang Xinrou pouted in disagreement. How could Xinguo Academy be so easy to get into? This is the top academy in Longxia Nation. Back then Gu Qianqian barely reached the admission line. It wasn't until she awakened top-tier aptitude at the transcendent level that she truly distinguished herself. All right. I have to go to the assessment area I'm responsible for. Tang Xinrou waved her hand, but suddenly turned serious. Right. The military said that during the previous clearing of this area, 2 transcendent tier demons were missed. You have to be careful. On the other side, the 50 students who passed the first round of assessments were already situated in a brand new world. Towering ancient trees rose from the ground. A faint mist drifted in the air. In the distance, at the military's temporary command post, an officer walked out to the front. The assessment begins. While I subconsciously scan my surroundings, finding that the succubus of Shan Ruoxue seemed to be among the crowd of beasts, able to rank in the top 5 as well, coupled with her tactical command ability that far surpassed Chen Ziming's. Even if I didn't participate for Linyuan City, it was highly likely she would take first place this time. Watching the students successively enter the assessment area, I turned to look at Yingbing. Come with me. After all, with the crowd control assistance of her Ice Phoenix, Liuli's leveling efficiency would definitely increase significantly. And I knew Xinghe should be hiding nearby. According to Xinghe's statement, unless encountering life-threatening danger, he would not take action. Thinking of this, Yingbing and I walked straight towards the high-level assessment area. This was basically an area that would only open in the later stages of the assessment. All the demonic creatures were above awakening tier 6. By coincidence, this area was the one managed by Tang Xinrou. At this moment she was eating potato chips, having nothing to do. So boring. How am I going to endure this whole month? As she was muttering, suddenly her beast sent out an alert. 2 students entered the high-level area. Which reckless guy came barging in here right from the start? Although complaining verbally, Tang Xinrou's movements were as fast as lightning. With a flash of her figure, she dashed rapidly towards the direction of the 2. As an examiner and safety officer, she had to immediately rush over to check the situation. At the same time, not long after Yingbing and I penetrated deep into the high-level area, 3 massive ogres blocked our path. These awakening tier 9 demonic creatures exuded a nauseating stench all over, their dark purple skin covered in ferocious magic patterns. My eyes focused. Demons were different from magic beasts. The latter were demonized because of demonic aura infection, while the former were born from the demonic aura. Demons are divided into 6 levels according to their aptitude. Demon Soldier, Demon Officer, Demon General, Demon Monarch, Demon King, Demon God. The 3 ogres in front of us were all existences at the Demon General level. I felt a surge of joy in my heart. The purpose of entering the high-level area was precisely to kill demons and level up. However, when Tang Xinrou rushed to the scene, the sight before her made her pupils shrink abruptly. 3 awakening tier 9 Demon General level ogres. These were fundamentally not opponents newly graduated beast tamers could handle. Her gaze swept over the youth on the field, and she suddenly found him somewhat familiar. Isn't this Qianqian's brother? Why did this kid run to the high-level area on the first day of the assessment? At this moment Yingbing and I exchanged a tacit glance. You control. I output. All right. Before Ing Bing's words fell, the mystic frost ice phoenix had already spread its wings and given a long cry. Frost storm. A bone-piercing frost storm swept out. The three ogres were instantly covered by ice crystals, their movements suddenly slowing down. Naturally, I wouldn't let this good opportunity slip by. Liuli. A crimson sword glow flashed like a sudden thunderclap. The ogre in the very center hadn't even had time to break free from the frost before it was cleft in two by a single strike. The remaining two monsters let out angry roars, but were instantly closed in on by Liuli's phantom-like figure. The sword glow flashed again. The two ogres fell to the ground in response. As the blue halo sank into her glabella, the aura around Liuli suddenly climbed, leveling up to Awakening Tier 7. I roughly estimated Liuli's various attributes. Ordinary Awakening Tier 9 beasts could already not compare to Liuli's various attributes, while the mystic frost ice phoenix at the side also borrowed this battle to successfully break through to Awakening Tier 7. Not far away, Tang Shinro, who witnessed the entire process, rubbed her eyes in disbelief. Under the cooperation of two Awakening Tier 6 beast tamers, they actually instantly killed 3 Awakening Tier 9 demon generals. I'm afraid the Xinguo Academy will be fighting tooth and nail to recruit them over the next few days. Tang Shinro felt her worldview being reconstructed. No matter what Awakening Tier the demons were, in our hands they were as fragile as paper mache. Our strength also climbed at an astonishing speed. In just 2 short days, both actually broke through to Awakening Tier 8. When we finally left her supervision area, Tang Shinro was still immersed in shock, and ultimately wrote full marks solemnly in my evaluation column. At this moment in the Southern Military Region headquarters, Wei Yuan was personally writing a recommendation letter. The recipient impressively stated, to be opened personally by Long Xinguo, principal of Xinguo Academy. Meanwhile, in the deepest part of the assessment area, Gu Qianqian frowned tightly. What she was responsible for supervising was exactly the most dangerous area. At this moment her perception clearly captured the aura of a transcendent tier demon. Star tier butterfly. Jade-faced fox. With a soft shout, 2 beasts were summoned to appear. The star tier butterfly was an epic aptitude beast she redeemed at school through her hard work. Currently its level had already reached transcendent tier 2. The other one, the jade-faced fox, was the first beast that accompanied her all the way from the awakening stage. Currently its level was Awakening Tier 9. She knew she had to finish off this transcendent tier demon before the candidates arrived. If a transcendent tier demon attacked this group of candidates, it would be a massacre. Thinking of this, she immediately headed towards the direction where she sensed the aura. However, what she didn't know was that Ing Bing and I had already quietly stepped into this area. I turned my head to look at the ice beauty beside me. If this continues, we'll reach Awakening Tier 9 very soon. When that time comes, we'll head straight to the secret realm. Ing Bing nodded almost imperceptibly. The time spent these past few days often put her in a trance. From childhood to adulthood, this was the first time she had spent so much time alone with someone of the opposite sex her own age. These inexplicable emotional fluctuations left her confused. However, right at this moment, Liuli's figure flashed in front of Ing Bing, her snow-white wings tracing a silver arc, accurately striking away the incoming black bone spikes. The mystic frost ice phoenix let out an angry cry, its ice-blue wings fully unfurled, its sharp gaze deadlocked onto the shadows deep within the forest. Following a burst of grating friction sounds, 2 eerie demonic figures slowly materialized. I didn't dare to be careless and quickly checked the information of the 2 demons. The skeleton demon on the left was entirely entwined in black mist, its ghastly white skeletal frame covered in ferocious sharp spikes. Those 3 attributes, approaching 500 points, gave off a pressure as heavy as a mountain. As for the demon on the right, it was completely shrouded in a black robe, making it impossible to see clearly. But what truly sent a chill down one's spine was, although its level was Awakening Tier 9, its various attributes and skills were all question marks. Ing Bing also quietly retreated to my side. What do we do? It seems one of them is a transcendent tier demon. After weighing the options, I lowered my voice and said, let's retreat first. Ing Bing nodded slightly. Although Ing Xinghe was guarding in the dark, we couldn't act recklessly just because of that. However, just as we prepared to pull back, the skeleton demon suddenly sprang up. With a swipe of its ghastly white bone claws, several sharp bone spikes nailed into the ground, instantly sealing off all retreat paths. Ying Bing and I exchanged a glance. This battle is unavoidable. In the dark, an ice-blue domain condensed at Ying Xinghe's fingertips, preparing to intervene and help. Using the awakening stage to fight against the transcendent tier was ultimately pushing it too far. But just in the instant he was about to reveal himself, a figure was closing in on the battlefield at astonishing speed. Star tier butterfly. Prison of light. Following a clear shout, a sky full of starlight suddenly rained down, transforming into a resplendent cage that trapped the two demons inside. Gu Qianqian fluttered down, the star tier butterfly circling beside her. Sister. I widened my eyes, looking in disbelief at the sudden appearance of this beautiful figure. Gu Qianqian glared at me. I'll deal with you later. Step back. These two demons are not something you can handle. Immediately, she turned to face the skeleton demon. As long as this transcendent tier demon is finished off, this battle can be declared over. As for the other awakening tier 9 demon, leaving it to the jade-faced fox is more than enough. I looked at Gu Qianqian's back, hesitating to speak. With the star tier butterfly's attributes, dealing with a transcendent tier 2 skeleton demon should be handled with ease. As for the other demon, its depth couldn't be seen at all. And the jade-faced fox's attributes couldn't even compare to Liuli's. This made me secretly vigilant. I turned sideways nonchalantly and whispered, Liuli, if you notice anything amiss later, just attack directly. Liuli nodded solemnly. This is in front of Big Sister. I definitely have to perform well. The battle broke out instantly. The star tier butterfly launched the first attack. As its resplendent butterfly wings fluttered lightly, the sky full of starlight condensed into sharp blades of light pouring down like a torrential rain. The skeleton demon let out an ear-piercing shriek. A bizarre black halo rippled on the surface of its skeletal frame, actually deflecting most of the blades of light. Gu Qianqian gave a clear shout. Chains of starlight. In a split second, the star tier butterfly burst forth with dazzling brilliance. Several chains condensed from pure starlight shot through the air, winding around the skeleton demon's body like spirit snakes. The starlight flowing on the chains continuously eroded the ghastly white skeletal frame, emitting teeth-achingly loud sizzling sounds. On the other side, the jade-faced fox leaped gracefully, trailing several indistinguishable phantoms behind it. The pretenders seemed to be thrown into a panic, being slashed with several wounds by the fox claws and steadily losing ground. It looks like it will be finished off soon. Seeing the situation brought under control, Gu Qianqian slowly breathed a sigh of relief. However, my frown deepened more and more. The strength this pretender is displaying is too weak. As if verifying my guess, the pretender suddenly let out an earth-shaking roar. Pitch-black demonic aura surged out like a tide. It instantly choked the jade-faced fox's throat and smashed it heavily into the ground. The situation reversed instantly. In the nick of time, the jade-faced fox used fox spirit substitute to barely escape danger. But it also completely lost its combat capability due to exhausting its spiritual energy. Pretender. Level: Transcendent Tier 3. Aptitude: Demon Monarch. Strength: 589. Constitution: 482. Spirit: 612. Speed: 554. Talent: Camouflage Deception. Skills: Perfect Camouflage. Mental Shock. Myriad Demonic Shadows. Only when this pretender actively revealed all its aura did I completely see all the attributes of this demon clearly. And after Gu Qianqian clearly saw the true strength of this pretender, her face instantly turned deathly pale. Only at this moment did she understand why these two demons still managed to escape despite the military laying an inescapable net. Gu Xing, take that girl and leave immediately. The farther the better. In the dark, Ying Xinghe's heart also suffered a massive shock. Even with his experience, he hadn't anticipated that this pretender had actually reached the demon monarch level. However, at this moment I instead took on an offensive stance. Ying Bing, can you hold it for a moment? Ying Bing nodded, her ice-blue eyes full of determination. Mystic Frost Ice Phoenix. Frost Ring Confinement. The Ice Phoenix, which had long been gathering power, let out a clear resonant long cry, the cold air around its body surging explosively, only to see crystalline ice crystals instantly condense all over the pretender's body. Its movements noticeably sluggish, but a barely detectable trace of disdain flashed in its eyes. I completely sank all my spiritual power into the beast space, establishing a deep resonance through the beast space. to help Liuli stably reach the critical state. Crimson flames swept out like a volcanic eruption, instantly enveloping the young girl's figure. Critical state. Open. Under the continuous infusion of my spiritual power. The holy flames around Liuli suddenly surged. Seraphim mode. New veins of light began to emerge on the edges of her 4 wings. A pair of even more resplendent wings burst through the flames. The 6-winged seraphim descends. At the same time, Gu Qianqian's figure suddenly froze. She felt an extremely terrifying fluctuation coming from behind her. In the dark, Xinghe was even more shocked, his old eyes wide open. Even his withered fingers were trembling involuntarily. In the center of the battlefield, under Liuli's coercion, the pretender felt an unprecedented threat of death. The pretender's pupils shrank like pinpricks, the demonic aura all over its body tumbling madly. Mental shock. Berserk spiritual power erupted from its body like a tsunami, instantly blowing the ice crystals into a sky full of ice shards. The frost ring confinement was forcefully torn apart. The aura of the mystic frost ice phoenix suddenly withered, the ice blue luster on its wings rapidly dimming. And the freed pretender immediately activated its life-saving skill, myriad demonic shadows. Thick black mist tumbled like a living creature, instantly swallowing it up. Within this domain of black mist, it could freely change its form and completely conceal its tracks. I frowned deeply, secretly exclaiming that things were bad in my heart. If the pretender hadn't broken free just now, relying on Liuli's current critical state, we might still have been able to attempt a one-hit kill. But now we're in trouble. Liuli's holy sword cut through the black mist, but only shattered an illusion. Physical attacks were nearly ineffective. Gu Qianqian's voice suddenly came over. Little Xing. I will control it. Gu Qianqian's eyes narrowed slightly. Astonishing mental fluctuations suddenly erupted all around her. Replicate. Chains of starlight. The blue chains, which should have been in a cooldown period, actually shot out from the star-tier butterfly's body again, penetrating the black mist like shooting stars and binding the pretender firmly. Under normal circumstances, after a beast casts a skill, it must wait for the skill's effect to completely end. But right now the star-tier butterfly actually launched chains of starlight twice simultaneously. This is Gu Qianqian's innate talent. Dual cast. This talent is simply a divine skill tailor-made for control-type beast tamers. Liuli. Finish it. The holy flames around the little angel suddenly surged. Her crimson figure turned into a burning shooting star, tearing through space in an instant to arrive in front of the pretender. Judgment. Following a clear, loud shout, the holy sword bloomed with resplendent light. The pretender, confined by the chains, couldn't even struggle, and could only watch helplessly as the holy sword slashed down. The sword glow flashed. The earth trembled violently. A terrifying pillar of crimson flame shot straight into the sky. In the crimson flames, the demon's body disintegrated inch by inch, ultimately turning into drifting black ash. And the aura of Liuli, bathed in golden light, climbed once again. Having killed a transcendent tier 3 demon, her level increased once again, reaching awakening tier 9. All of her basic attributes broke past the 300 mark. This numerical value already far exceeded beasts of the same tier, and was even approaching certain transcendent tier beasts.